Hello, YouTube and Kick. Welcome to episode 42. It's going to be our last episodes, actually our last D&D for till the new year. All of our other groups are on hiatus until at least the beginning of 2024. Yeah, we don't get to play D&D till next year. Oh my gosh. But yeah, we'll be on hiatus for a couple of weeks after today. But we have some stuff to do. Hopefully we can get all of it done to start the intro into the next chapter. And with that, let's jump into it. Hello, everybody.
I think we've solved it. We're in a book.
Hello.
Fucking
worse. Dimension book.
How
New
goes
chapter.
everyone?
Where we are. I'm alive and I've eaten, so I'm no longer hangry.
That's always good.
I have caffeine. I have energy drinks. We're good to go.
I have caffeine. I was trying to order food earlier. I eventually just warmed something up from my freezer. But I had to order cat food this morning, and I got some snacks along with it, and then they handed me almost a near empty bag. I'm like, okay, I got the cat food, and they're like, yeah, they were out of the other stuff that you wanted, and I'm all like, no.
Did you get it at least refunded for that?
Oh, it all got refunded, no problem.
Funded? Because I don't think they charge you until they pick it up, especially for like the grocery shit.
Yeah. It's just I hadn't gone back in to say, substitute it, so it just automatically got refunded kind of deal. And so it's like, well, damn. So I pulled something out of the freezer, and I'll snack on that for now. So recap last time.
You go. Kaitos just ran around, and for the most part, Kaitos just ran around and decided to track down, started with the Leonin, and then realized everybody else in this city might have people in Bruxus, or this town might have people in Bruxus. And so then
you guys spent the first 2 hours basically lore recap. You guys started with having just been teleported in, small group showed up. Drogue was there, Loheim, Rodir and Abra, reuniting the group that started it all.
No, you said Abra was not there.
No, she was.
No, she was there. She was with Rodir.
Rodir brought Lysander.
Yep.
Okay, that's right. Okay.
They just had him by either arm because even though she's a cleric, she's still orc and can throw people around fairly easily. So, a little Lysander. Yeah, no, you're coming with me.
Jack cleric.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I remember we finally made a connection in that when we were in the foundry, when we destroyed the 2 crystals, we more or less unleashed both Malice and the Lich, but he wasn't a Lich anymore because the Djinn separated him out as punishment for trying to use the Djinn's lamp as his phylactery. And the Djinn went, it's one final thing, fuck you, separated it out and locked him in 2 spots. And we intentionally broke the crystals. We unintentionally released them.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And now I don't know if we confirmed
in the chat,
if the entity upstairs was in fact Malice or some other creature.
Yes.
We believe the one upstairs was
Malice.
And the one down was Thessalar's essence.
Mm-hmm.
Which I got a question, Tim. So how is it that Thessalar, if he was in the crystal, how was he able to be there during the Great Fight and the Flood?
I think that was
because from what I'm understanding is that Xenocrates or the Jinn, whoever, one of the two, split the Lich, and they were like that for like for a long time span.
Couple
So
decades.
from what I'm on, my brain is connecting is that he was
The
not,
fight where the town got separated, that was only 10 years ago, right?
but he was locked up.
Except it could have been that he was locked
Elysium.
up in one way, and that wasn't restrictive enough.
I mean,
And
hey,
maybe
fair.
somebody else, like Loheim, 'cause Loheim's the other smartest person around, was just like, was locked up, wasn't locked up enough, and Loheim was like, no, fuck this, I'm setting up this complicated shit in a town super far away from here. Not understanding that Theslar's one half that was helping no longer had the malice and evil that was the other half, making him a
Maybe.
lich.
I don't know. It just was a connection that I realized, and I was just like,
That
I
nobody
think the
questioned.
Jinn, I think the Jinn separated him out, but didn't lock him up.
Your
And then
detective
Loheim and
skills
them,
are active.
Loheim and them separated them and like locked them into
Yes,
a thing.
out of all the lore dumping that happened last episode, that was one of the few questions that was like not addressed, and it's like, okay, they'll figure it out, they'll ignore it. So
yeah,
My
I made the connection like after all of that, but then we were like moving along with stuff, and I was like, oh, what? So I was like, okay, I need to bring this up next session then.
starting it, yeah, when I started to get really specific with the years and dates, and it's like, what?
Yeah.
Why
that
does
one
that
meme with
not?
the woman in the geometric, like the geometry questions. Or actually, that's algebra. Anyway, but yeah, no, my brain.
Doing the math in the head, like, wait a minute.
Yeah, you just pointed that out. My brain was like, huh, that's true. Hold on. Yeah,
Oh, that's
it's like a final act of power.
Well-
It makes sense that Jin would only be able to separate them and not like set up some elaborate thing to lock them. Because that, like, even magic-wise, that would be a whole ass different set of like magic needed in order to erect and create.
So we know
Things.
from last time, Andreas, Crassus, Liv went to the bar.
Kythos is running around getting descriptions.
Kythos got a list of potential names to hunt down, and was going to talk to Abra to see if any of them are in the Book of the Dead kind of deal.
Just discovered that the blacksmith is literally the only blacksmith in town. It was the only blacksmith in town. So then he said his line of, "Oh, nobody's looking for me. That's fine." And then Kythos explained, like, described him with trying to before talking with Abra, ran into, I think, Rodir, and was
Yep.
like, "Yeah, these people, like, this is what I'm doing." And Rodir was just like, wait, that name right there." Like, he's there. It's like, and he just took off, gone. It's like, okay. But yeah,
Yep.
and
then Loheim is with Alamos, but also at the same time had asked some of the heavier, stronger people to assist with a project. So I know Protec, probably Thorny going with Alamos.
I thought last session it was kind of like, I'm gonna need it later, like,
yeah,
and then Alamos just kind of followed him, like, I don't know what to do.
But at some point, it was pretty much the three of you had volunteered to go and help with that.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
So it's like, when you need us, let us know.
It was also Liv, because she can turn into small creatures.
Liv can wild shape into something really small and stuff really big. So it was like, okay, when I need you, we're there. So yeah, Theslar at this point is still napping. He is, the curtains closed. He's got himself snoring logs. He's just out because teleporting the town back from the distance that you guys had traveled was kind of insane. So,
Oh, and then Loheim fixed a lot of our stuff. There were some things Loheim couldn't
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
fix.
Yep.
And then informed Kaithos that the sword not working is not an issue. The sword is still fully functional. It's user error.
The sword works, you don't.
Apparently. Yeah. Ended up trying to will the sword to cooperate. The sword didn't necessarily say no, but the vibe was a sassy, like, no.
Yeah, it's like how else do
basically
you
banner and hold.
explain how else do you explain it a magical term? Like it'd be like trying to flip on a light switch and have the bulb short out, like fuck you, like I'm just gonna kill the bulb, I'm not gonna turn on kind of deal. Whereas like you have a magical item where you can feel its essence, you can know it's magical, and you're like, I need you to work, and you basically get this ping that triggers like it's fully functional. It's just disobeying your command. It doesn't want to listen to you.
It's a disobedient child.
Basically. So yeah, we have I don't know who wants to go first. We got Kaithos's Kaithos has got
I'm
a
tracking down
list of people.
And yeah, I'm tracking down people because I think I left the town area, and of the 30 odd people that were in the town that got teleported, only like 10 of them, I think, were like somebody would be looking for me. Technically 11, because the Smith thought nobody would be looking for him. We proved that wrong. So back to 10.
So I have,
and then Abra marked 8 people up. Like, of those 10, Abra was like, these 8 are still around, but these 2 are like
or potentially still around, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yes, because on her list, she's got a Rosalind Preston, who was one of those that died in the attack. But yet in her book, it doesn't. She says there's information missing in her book. There's still an address listed for her, which kind of like makes Abra go, what?
404 person not found.
There's a missing piece to this. And then another person on that list was Gaki Westcott, who also was died in the attack. And so you're kind of like crossing off, okay, this, the pig farmer and, one of the other townies, we're going to have to give them bad news, but, it happens.
Yeah.
So yeah, you start going on your search for
starting
other
with
people.
The Leonins.
Starting with the Leonins. All right, so you go to where...
That's a group dynamic, so it's like, no, like this is how most of the functioning of this particular race works. They need to be together, otherwise it's... Yeah.
And so, also looking back, from the information Raku told you, he wants you to see if you can go find his daughter, Zaya. And
right. And Zaya's husband.
It didn't give you a name, but potentially, his, he's not sure what's up with that, but
cool. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna hunt her down.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Granted,
so
a lot of the work with that one will probably be just me moving around the town, and if she spots me as being like one of the only other humans she's seen. I don't know.
Well,
how
it's
many
actually
are in Bruxis.
Surprisingly in a crowded in a crowded market, because it's one of those mornings where people are out shopping and trading and whatnot, because a good chunk of the as we found out the part of the town that came back was pretty big in processing a lot of raw materials, and so there's only a few people in town that have figured out some processing skills, but the market's less about like, I'm just going to buy your wares, and more of, I can do this thing, let's trade. Which is kind of why your guys' markets experiences have been awkward, but that's just kind of how it is. And during one of your your passerbys. Throw me a perception check.
Sweet.
Fuck yeah. So somewhere in the crowd, even though people have, robes and cloaks and, hoods on and stuff like that, you seem to notice a smaller figure running around that has a particular tail that's very similar to yours. Just running off, and seems to be running up to a much larger creature, covered up in a cloak. You don't notice any tails, but you see this little with a little
It's like
poof on the end of its tail. Cub size, yes.
Okay. Yeah. I will walk that way.
All right.
Like, I've got robes on, but it's absolutely clear what I am.
Yep. And with that nat 20, as you're like walking and getting closer and observing, you do notice that this cub is Leonin, and is grasping the leg of what seems to be a female Leonin.
Okay.
She's just going off and buying things and whatnot. Hasn't noticed your presence.
Great. I have to start the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You'd figure with a high charisma, my character would know how to do that. Character does. Me? No. Oh, yeah.
You
No,
just-
I'm just
Oh,
gonna,
look
lol,
very-
am I right?
You just
I'm
look
not-
very pretty.
I am. So I'll stroll up. I don't want to startle her,
Charles,
I guess.
what the fuck are you?
So it's just
I'm sure if you meow, she'll be very unstartled.
this is why you don't get to get pets. So yeah,
You
I will
fucking
stroll.
meanie.
You make remarks like that. Congrats. I know there's two of you in there, but deal with it. So yeah, I'll walk up and kind of be like, "Excuse me, ma'am, you said Zaya? The name
Yep.
to me?
Yep.
Okay.
Zaya.
Yeah.
ZYAH.
So yeah,
Zaya,
I'll
you,
be like, "Are you Zaya?"
there's a moment of pause and a very quick like snap of head to you as she's just kind of like, yes, how can I? Oh, hello.
Oh, you're
I-
a tall Leonin.
Just kind of
I'm
like taken aback, just
6'3",
like
dude.
Oh, you're a tall one.
well, not even just more of shock because
Mhm.
you know
Here's another Leo.
there's clearly not very many that's running around, and this is one that she doesn't know.
Right.
Are you Zaya?
As she's like, grabbing a hand on her kid, like, yes, how do you know me?
Your father. It hasn't been announced to the whole fucking city, has it? They're doing that slowly, right?
No. It's been very kind of hush hush because they don't want the mass panic.
Mm-hmm. Can we go somewhere to talk? Or are you willing to come with me towards the southeast section of town?
Mm-hmm.
City? Southeast section. I'm willing to walk in front and,
We're willing to go with you. Why are you mentioning my father? He's been missing for a decade.
It's a very long story, and there's going to be announcements. I'm doing this in hushed tones because I don't want to accidentally just spill the beans to the whole goddamn market and do exactly what they're trying to avoid having happen. Just be like, there will be an announcement made later, but I have someone who's looking for you by name.
You speak of riddles, and you're
Yeah.
really not giving me much information.
Okay, can we step somewhere where we won't be overheard as well?
She picks up her kid, which looks and the cub looks similar to the other two cubs, but
Actually, much younger.
not only much younger, but just kind of like different patternings, slightly different variations of hair color and stuff like that.
Got it. Different dads. Okay.
Two different dads.
You know, she scoops up her
Just
cub and gestures down, you know,
It's been a decade.
one of the alleyways that's, you know, not really like a quiet alleyway, but like away from the mass of people.
Yeah.
And so she kind of like, you know, walks over looking at you and says, finally gets to like a quiet corner, goes, okay, speak plainly. What is going on?
You know the section of the city that was burnt and dilapidated
Yes.
from the attacks. That burnt and dilapidated section was actually kind of an illusion, more or less like a tangible illusion. That section of the city and all the people that were in it got teleported to somewhere safe right before it got blown up. We have teleported it back. And your father is there with 2 teenagers.
Ish.
Teleported. It
Man.
was in ruins, and if it was just removed, we would have known. And Drogue
It
would have
was
said something,
removed.
and
And then a fake was put in its place, but no one was told.
I feel like Ross should have gone with Kythos, because Kythos is not very good at explaining magic.
It's magic, and like I don't know what her level of magic comprehension is anyway.
There were so
it's
many.
like
Wait,
yes,
Come
I know,
And-
so
and
out of
the
just-
fake
Would've
version
done the
got
job
left
better.
in its place.
and Zaya's just bewilderness of this information. Like you can tell part of her has kind of like gone beyond past that grieving stage of now she just thinks you're just trying to insult her.
I'll
because-
give a description of her father like to T. Oh, actually, I got.
I
my
mean,
mental
worst case
whatever
scenario,
the
you know, you all, yeah. Also, you have names.
fuck. You said Roku.
Raku.
Raku. It's like his name is Raku. I'll give full description of him, and then both a full description of the kids and their rough ages.
She goes from like anger, judgmental, to just straight shock. Like you can see the hamsters in that wheel just going nuts and just trying to process what you've just said.
Is there not?
Thank you.
My father, my kids.
Mhm.
As she like adjusts the other one. You're telling me they're alive
Yes.
and they're well.
As far as I can see, right, Tim?
Oh yeah, that little town thrived while it was away.
Like, yeah, they're well. Set up, yeah.
Her shock just like she's just frozen.
Do you want to follow me back there to see? Because that's where I was trying to take you, just to go see him and them.
It's
Figured
been a
seeing them
decade.
would be
Do
the
you
most
think
proof.
they would remember me? Not to mention when they find out that they have a little brother, half brother, step brother.
I mean, going off of Leonin culture and how good their memory, like, they might not be able to recognize the sight of you, but you get close enough, they'll know it's you and just kind of taps his nose.
Mm-hmm.
They'll know
Yep.
it's you.
All right, lead the way.
Going. Still walking in front because I've tried to convince this random Leonid woman and who has a small cub with her. Like, here, go with me.
Yep. And
Part of
as you
town
guys
that you
start,
fully believe is dilapidated and destroyed.
yeah,
Well,
as
that
you
actually
guys
was
as you guys
influenced,
start as you guys start walking there, she's even like asking questions, like as she's like trying to like almost hide, like you said it just reappeared, right? It was brought back.
Mhm. Yeah.
Why hasn't there been an announcement? Why haven't people been notified?
Drogue doesn't want to cause mass panic. We need to. We're taking stock of foods actually in that section of town, and trying to notify people who would be looking for those people.
Do you show
Like, would
her
be
like your
looking for them.
book of
Yeah, I've got the
list
book.
of what?
It's like he doesn't want to cause mass panic and have other people who their spouses or family went missing during the attack have false hope.
So you're tracking down the town's loved ones first before they announce anything.
Yeah.
Okay,
Trying
that
to
makes
find the
sense.
people. Yeah.
Like she's following you, but you can tell like her nerves are shot. The hair in the back of her neck is on end. It's just
Kathos is just like, yeah, this you're doing. Yeah, he doesn't want everybody in the city doing that all at once.
they're gonna ask about their
Necessarily.
father, and that's gonna be hard to explain. And
Hard to explain.
she mentions
Fast
that
during the battle.
she mentions that her first husband, which would have been the father
Yes.
to the other two boys, or other two cubs, that he died in a boating accident. And because it had been, a decade, she eventually settled down and got remarried, and had a child, thinking that her father and her kids were lost and gone and dead up until this point.
I mean, it's been 10 years. Like, there are people who move on way faster than that. So yeah, but it's been. How old is the cub? It's a little one.
Little one, he'd be like 3.
Okay. So yeah, the two other cubs are like what? Teens? Like you said,
Would be
12,
like
13?
between 12 and 14. So
yeah,
they were real little when they left, and he's really shocked.
Yeah.
You guys slowly get into town, and there are like townies that are just like sitting outside their homes watching you because they know that you're the one that they all talk to. So they're sitting there like, oh, did he find someone? Did he find someone? Like, like all anticipating like you're about to go approach them to give them information, and it's like, no, okay, cool, not me. Okay.
Okay. I mean,
Yep.
I'm probably gonna have Abra talk to the two that it's like one we're pretty sure is dead, and the other is a giant question mark. It's like pretty sure she's dead, but the house is still.
Yep.
She's still the one marked for the address. So who knows what the fuck's going on with that one? But yeah.
Yep. And as soon as you guys walk into that section of town, Zaya's eyes get big because she's like, wait a minute, this was all ash and rubble and burnt spinders, and it looks like it's been I wouldn't say rebuilt, but like remade, but not. And
yeah, so yeah, I don't know the specifics of the magic, but more or less this section got copied and then sent somewhere else before the explosion happened on it. That makes sense. Like the buildings, we were magically made an exact copy of all the buildings while the actual section got teleported out. People in buildings.
That would have been an intense magical ability.
Can confirm it was intense coming back.
Hmm.
But yeah,
So
very,
you
very
guys
powerful
make it
magic.
to the top of the walkway that would have lead down towards the docks, and she freezes. She can see her father just fishing on the edge of the dock and playing along the beach. You know, two kiddos just throwing
Having
each other
zoomies.
around and having zoomies, chasing each other around. And yeah, she's begins to have a small little breakdown behind you.
Understandably.
I can let her have her breakdown. Like, I'm tempted to go, like, flag her father to come over, but it's like, hey, she
Yeah.
needs a minute.
She's sitting there and having a moment. You're trying to comfort her. The wind picks up a little bit, and it's about then that you see Raku perk up.
Nope.
Put down his fishing pole and slowly turns around. And it's just like a slow-mo movie for you as daughter up on, holding a cub and father down below, and he doesn't say a whole lot until like he gives off a whistle and it alerts the kids.
Teenagers.
Yep. Who are looking at grandfather, but then they catch something and look up the path. And there's like this moment of hesitation before they go barreling towards you two. They come running.
I'm gonna shift to like behind her to brace her.
as
Like, I'm gonna shift here.
as two kids that 10 years later come crash hugging into their mother.
Oh.
They know.
Oh yeah.
And so you brace for impact. There's almost a moment where like her cub is handed off to you for a brief moment. She's like leaning down, big old hugs and whatnot. And what seems to be like no time at all, she looks up and Raku is standing there too, like, and he's just like, "Hey kid, it's been a while." And lots of tears, lots of crying, lots of hugs. Zaya introduces her kids to her kid.
Their brother, their half brother.
Yep. And because her remarried husband is Tabaxi, rather than Leonin, she mentions the kids' names are Jiro and Aquila, but her little baby, is named Nimble of Storms. Because she gave her youngest more of a Tabaxi name, which is why the coloration, he's still very Leonin, but he's got more of the Tabaxi coloration and whatnot. And so as you're hearing the name, you're sitting there going, "Oh, makes
that's right.
so much more sense why the kiddo just seemed different compared to all the other Leonin that you've run into here."
Yep. Sweet.
Her current husband is off working down by the dockyards, and when Raku asks what he does for a living, she kind of like smiles at him and says, "Oh, he's one of the fishermen for the big boating companies."
So she has a type. Got it.
Yep. And
her husband died in a boat.
there's a lot of
boating accident.
There's a lot of thank yous.
They do say that we marry our parents, so
Oh, I didn't, but
there's a lot of thank yous before Raku pulls out, and up until this point, you've always envisioned like Raku and his family being like extremely on the poor end of things, and he
Mhm.
pulls out this little baggie, looks like a little coin purse, and hands it to you like, this is yours for everything you've done.
I mean, thank you. I don't need it, but just thank you.
Just by taking it, you realize that it doesn't feel like coin. It doesn't jingle like coin.
I'll pick in the bag. That's intriguing.
Just on first glance, you just see the light reflect off of a whole bunch of shinies. Gems, stones,
Oh. Okay.
pearls.
Did he get all of this shit just from the river? 10 years of panning at the river with fish.
Pretty rocks. Yeah. I'll do the totaling out of what all is in it somewhere else. I don't. That feels wrong to do it in front of him.
He's all like,
Thank
here, you
you.
take this. And you're like, cool. And he places it in your hand. You're like, this doesn't feel like points. It. Oh, shit.
Okay, then.
Why do I feel like died in a boating accident is just ran afoul of a gem smuggling ring?
Or was working for a gem smuggler.
Right.
Oh God.
Like, yeah, we don't ask questions.
Let's not. Yeah, I vote to not.
So yeah,
And
I
then there's that other question: was this before
You don't
or
have a voting
after
rights.
Lysander went nuts and started building up his own power over at Apollonia and stuff like that? So yeah, there's this, there's a whole
Yep.
bunch of what the fuck were they doing?
So yeah,
So yeah, out of
I'll leave
your
them to their
8
reunion.
names, you have
one down.
one family that's been reunited.
All right,
Yeah.
and
Um,
yeah, and
As you are departing to go, cross another name off your book, one of the counties that was just speaking to Abra, the one that gave you the Rosalind Presson, the one that was confirmed
Yeah,
to be died in the
question mark.
attack, but the questionable, just out of fear, they're like, "Can you go check the address?" Because even asking talk about Abra, she doesn't know why there's missing information.
yeah, why not? Yeah, I'll go check that. That's a weird one. Definitely. So
Mhm.
that'll be my next stop. I'm also still trying to contemplate this fucking sword.
Oh yeah,
Can I do a detect thoughts on the sword?
you can try.
Yeah, fuck it. I'm gonna do detect thoughts and focus on the sword itself.
You don't really get thoughts that come back. It's not like a mind
Okay.
like any other, like a normal person.
Do I get vibes? any vibes from the sword? Or is it just nothing? Not really.
Nothing that really like speaks to you.
Okay. Cut it off. Like, I do not want to be. Because I didn't use you that much. Is that what's going on? Feeling neglected. Yeah, fuck. Okay. Then yeah, I'm gonna go to the address and see what the fuck's going on.
Okay. So you go to the address, and the house seems lived in.
Like actively?
Mhm.
Okay.
Go knock on the door.
Yeah, fuck it.
Mhm. All right, you
There's
go.
like mail or anything in a mailbox.
No,
No.
it looks like whatever's been put in there has been recently collected.
Oh, okay. It's like, just to be safe, I'm gonna pop another detect thoughts into the room just to.
Go into the house.
Yeah, I just want to see if I get any pings off inside the building.
You get 2 pings. One on the main level and one upstairs.
Okay, then I mean, so without digging deep, I get surface level.
Mm-hmm.
So what am I getting surface level from the one on the main floor?
Trying to prepare food.
Upstairs? See what upstairs giving me.
An intense battle between two monsters.
That's what they're thinking?
Uh-huh.
What tense battle? What does the age feel like?
Young.
Okay. Yeah, I will. So, a person preparing food. Is it like what type of vibe? Is this like nanny vibe, paternal vibe, maternal vibe, grandparent?
Probably more like nanny.
Okay. Yeah, I'll knock on the door.
You knock on the door and you just hear the all right, I'm coming. Door swings open. Yes, how can I help you?
I'm looking into. How the fuck do I explain this? God damn it. Abra was missing some information in her book, and I'm just trying to tie up loose ends for her. You said Rosalind?
Yeah, Rosalind Preston.
Concerning Rosalind Preston? Or you said
Preston.
Preston, okay.
When she just kind of throws a towel over her shoulder, across his arm, and says, nobody's asked about her for a long time. She died in the attack. What do you want to know?
The Abra was just, so she died in the attack, but this address was still lined up with her name?
Yeah, this is Rosalind's house.
Okay. And Rosalind died in the attack.
Mm-hmm.
Was there any surviving family or anything like that? She seems very, very standoffish with, and like the straight. Can I insight check this person? And the Rosalind died in the attack.
Oh, it's
like, I know it's
also it's a he.
Oh, he. Okay.
The caretaker happens to be a male.
Oh, and I do still have detect thoughts up. So, what am I getting? Because that lasts 10 minutes.
You're getting suspicion with you.
If that tracks. Okay.
Worries that you're an enemy, and the other thoughts that you can kind of pick up is all about like protecting
the kid. I assume.
You can kind of like, yeah.
Okay. So, were you related to her in any way?
No.
Can I just insight check this guy aside from the detect thoughts? Because it could just be that he's not thinking of the thing.
Yeah.
He might be omitting or something like that. Great. No modifier. That's 15.
He's not trying to bullshit you.
Okay.
He's just being very cautious. You kind of get the feeling as he's kind of like giving you that stare down with that 1,000-yard stare.
Right.
That he's seen some shit. But his stance is also somewhat familiar to you.
His stance is familiar to me.
You've seen somebody else in the town utilize the same mannerisms.
And who would it be? The person who sent me here?
The bartenders that runs the bar. Kind
Did
of
the
keeping all the
bartender
tavern
give me
alive.
anything?
Yeah,
Is he fitting the description of the person the bartender said might be?
kinda, but with the 10-year age difference, it's possible that might not be the same one.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm at this person's house. How busy is the street or whatever we're around?
Not busy at all. Residential
Okay.
streets, just no one really coming and going. Most of them have already either come or gone from the market and back. So it's fairly
Alright,
kind of quiet street.
yeah, I'll just look at it and be like, okay, long story short, an announcement's gonna get made soon. That section of town that was destroyed and burned up, basically all the people that were there, and copies of the buildings they were in were teleported somewhere safe for the last 10 years. It's been brought back. I was given Rosalind's name by what's the dude's name? That sent me for Rosalind.
I don't think we ever got it, but
We'll
basically
leave
like
it blank,
pig
it's fine.
farmer.
Okay. So and so sent me on the hunt for Rosalind because he's back in the town. And then I was like keep doing the like looking at him, looking at, and then you did get the bartender's name, right? Or no?
Yeah.
What's the bartender's name?
Sylvia Rodney.
And then I also have a Sylvia Rodney who was looking for his brother, husband.
Her son or
Sylvia Rodney looking for her son.
You see him kind of take a really deep breath before he kind of steps back and holds the door. Come in. Let's talk.
Okay.
Get out of the street.
Stroll in.
So you stroll in,
Now
he
I'm wondering
closes
if
the door.
bartender is actually part of the Thieves Guild. Yep.
Leads you into the kitchen where, there's a couple of bar stools and stuff like that. And he's in the process of like whipping up lunch. He's like, can I get you anything? I'm just making lunch for the kiddo.
A drink. That'd be great. Water.
Mm-hmm. He fixes you up whatever you want.
Yeah.
And eventually he calls down for a kid by the name of Nogu. Nogu, lunch is ready. And could it be more than like 10 or 12?
I hear the like thud.
Yep.
It's the sound of a child who's
And without even thinking about it, just crawls up on a chair next to you and starts reaching for like, the food and water that was prepared. He takes a sip and kind of looks up at you and says, "Hi, I'm Nogu."
Can I take this? Nice. Yeah.
Mhm.
Does the kid look like the dude or no?
Hmm?
Does the kid and the guy
Nope.
share any similarities? Okay.
Nope. And so...
Do I have a Nogu on my list anywhere?
No.
He's way too young. Okay.
Nope.
Cool.
And, the guy starts, hands you a drink, starts sliding over some, like, fruits and veggies and stuff that he cut up. And he's like, all right, Nogu, you gotta remember to eat. And the kid's like, oh, but Ors, do I really have to eat this stuff? I don't like this stuff. He's like, yeah, you gotta eat it. okay, starts nibbling on food.
Okay. Was that what kind of tone was that said with? Was that said with a like? I'm just kidding. The type of
But the
kid
kid
that
also
doesn't like this
gave
stuff.
you a name too.
No good.
No.
Right.
No,
What?
he said the dude's name.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So eyebrows go up then. Bad.
Mhm. Yes, as the kid said, I'm Ors Rodney.
Okay.
Apparently you have a book of names. Apparently you're sent by my mother, who I thought was dead.
No. Kind of got teleported against her will, kind of, sort of. I mean, it was with her will because it was either that or she would die. So.
And so while you guys are like sipping and eating and whatnot, he tells you the story, 10 years ago, the attack happened, he witnessed what seems to be some sort of like comet, fiery rock that smashes down on the, that sort of town. Everything just erupts, fighting everywhere. He not only witnessed what he thought was his mother's murder, but he witnesses Rosalind's murder. And she died protecting Nogu. And so all he did was scoop him up, and he ran off and hid in the sewers somewhere until the attack ended. And because he had no place to stay, because they stayed at the inn, that he kind of just moved into Rosalind's house and has been keeping up with, payments and whatnot, if they're, taxes and stuff like that, as if she still lives there.
Gotcha.
But because he's done it so well, no one has said anything. No one's reported him. The higher ups just, I'm sure if you ask a neighbor or two, they probably figured out what was going on and just decided not to say nothing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So
but he does mention that, anyone who came looking for the kid, he was worried he was always worried that it would be like an assassin or something he was trying to finish off. He was young enough to not really understand what the attack was about himself.
Oh, okay. So I thought maybe it was specifically targeting Rosalind.
And so his whole deal was protecting Nogu. But yes.
Wait, was Nogu, was he Rosalind's kid?
Nogu Preston.
The dude in the town, did he mention Rosalind and a kid, or just
Rosalind was his wife?
Okay. But didn't mention the kid necessarily.
Because they pretty much worked and lived in two separate parts of the town. You kind of got the feel that based on the kid's age,
he was like a baby.
Yes. And so you kind of get this impression that dad worked down in the southern parts of the town. He might not know that his wife was pregnant.
Hey. And she died because she might have been on her way to be like, oh, by the way, I had a kid.
Yep. Ors kind of explains how a lot of the districts kind of work, in which mentioning the husband in the town would have worked months and months, 6 to 9 months at a time in the processing plants and stuff like that, and then would have come home for a few months and back and forth. He made a lot of money working out there, and she got to stay home. So there was probably a good chance that she was pregnant and had a kid, and he was still off working and hadn't been notified. Then you had the attack happen. Nogu would have been itty bitty bitty baby.
Okay.
And Ors kind of just scooped him up and been kind of raising him ever since. And here to find out, Ors himself is one of the people on your list.
Sweet.
Kind of got two birds with one stone on that one.
I'll just kind of like nod to him and be like, "Is it okay if I point the man to come here?
Yeah.
Do you want me to
And
tell your mom that you're here, or you want to find her?"
I'll come to her when we're ready. If she asks
Fair.
about me, just let her know that I'll come see her soon.
Okay.
So-
But I'm okay to point the man in this direction.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fine.
So yeah, I will kind of just nod, shake hands with him, look at the kid, hold out my giant ass lion paw
Mm-hmm.
for like a high five,
Of course, the kid's gonna be like, yeah.
smack the head out. Yep. And yeah, I'll head back and start with the bartender. So if
She
I don't know
she
what I
kind of
said here.
seems a little unfazed with your information, but you can kind of visually see that relaxing.
He's alive.
Very similar to
yeah,
how
yeah.
Ors was. She's very stoic in, like everything, and so like you're watching her now after meeting him and going, okay, yeah, that's definitely your kid.
His tracks, okay.
He's probably he was probably like 10 or 12 when scooped up Nogu. Didn't quite understand. So like, he's early 20s, taking care of like a 10-year-old kind of deal.
I'm just sitting here like, okay, so that forehead wrinkle is genetic. And the arm cross is genetic. Got it.
And even when you walked into the bar, like you notice like you almost snicker because she's wiping down the bar top and flips the towel over her shoulder and crosses their arms the exact same way. They're like, you're just like, what's so funny? Nah, don't worry about it.
No DNA test needed. Got it. But yeah, I'll like tell her, and then I will go find the man.
You go and mention.
Yeah, I don't know how to explain. By the way, you have a kid. But yeah, I'll just kind of like sit with him. Be like, okay, so it's.
He seems a little flabbergasted about the kid talk because he mentions that, and he actually pulls out a crumpled up letter that Rosalind had wrote him. And
Okay.
you could tell that the two were jokers, like they're always like making fun of each other and joking back and forth. She does mention the kid. And he's sitting there going, wait.
This
I
wasn't a
thought
joke?
she was joking. I thought she was pulling my leg. Are you telling me I have a kid?
Yes.
So
Unfortunately,
yeah,
she did die in the attack. But your kid is still alive and kicking, and actually with the bartender's son, Oru, Ors.
Or
Yeah, with
OHRS. Ors.
bartender's son. Apparently, he witnessed her trying to protect your kid, so he scooped up the kid and has been watching him ever since.
Okay. So like
They're
you
at
give
your
him
place. Yeah.
Like, you start giving him the address, and he's like, yeah. That was our home. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I will go pack my things and go say something, and kind of like, even without really saying goodbye to you, just starts like zoning out and walking off to kind of be like, I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna go deal
I have
with.
a 10-year-old.
Yeah, it's very like what.
Sweet.
So yeah.
I assume that all probably took me at least a day.
Yeah.
More hopping around.
Oh yeah. There's these couple probably the whole day trying to find people, talk to them, reunite them. Before we go any further, at some point, Loheim does come looking for Thorny, Protec, Liv. You know, like, hey, I could use you guys' help. Mentions one of the unused boatyards. There's a whole bunch of docks in the northeast section of the town where all the main, kind of where you guys came in from, but there's a particular area that none of the other shipwrights use. It's kind of like a what seems to be like an unused dock, but as you guys approach there, you can tell, okay, this was kind of saved for Loheim's little shenanigans kind of deal. But just kind of 50, 60 yards from the docks, there's this large area that's got a series of very large metal pieces that require moving and whatnot. And he's even got calls over Liv to be all like, so inside this mechanical piece, there's these two sections that need to be joined, but we can't reach. Are you able to potentially, shrink down and connect to things and whatnot? And
I'm very able to do that.
yeah, so you shrink down to like almost like mouse size, squeeze into the mechanical pieces, attach the pieces. Okay, and then there's that one over there. And at some point, Protec, Alamos, give me a perception check.
Okay. Fuck, I'm not very perceptive.
It's still high. It's still high enough. While you guys are helping move these large, what seems to be containers and things like that, over to, Loheim's got places marked off. Okay, if you can move those things here and that over here and, stage it just right, you see a couple of like armored guards. They're holding this, they're each carrying like a side of a chest. Trying to picture, like, think about like a chest that has two 2x4s running through them, and they're carrying the chest via the 2x4s and stuff like that. So it's very light for them to kind of march around.
And like how like those like servants carrying like the guy on the chair type thing.
Yeah, but not enough. Yeah, but enough to where four of them could carry this chest. In front of them, you see Drog, and he stops just a little bit further down the hill, and he has them drop the chest, and he pops it open, and you see him pops his helmet off, puts it in there, takes off his shoulder pads, starts removing parts of his armor, putting it in the chest, takes off his greaves and whatnot, and down to where he's just in his plain clothes underneath, takes off the scale, the chainmail and stuff like that, kind of loosens up, kind of like how he would if he was
walking.
Yep, he's still got his bracers on and whatnot, and closes the lid and gives it a little lock and starts wandering over to where you guys are and pulls up his sleeves and be like, all right, let's get to work.
Alamos just kind of looks at Botek, then back at him.
What Loheim said he needed strong, and
roll up his sleeves.
And I'm built for strength. So let's go.
Hey, sure about that one, short stack.
Hey, I might be short, but I can still break you over my knee. Okay, cool. Like he's like normally you guys have been seeing him in armor, and he's just very like authoritative, but it's kind of nice to see him like kick back and go, all right, let's get our hands dirty kind of deal. And even Loheim's like, sir, I didn't expect you to come and help. And he's like, shush, you needed help, I'm here. And you know,
That's
it's
full of
very
muscle.
it very clearly shows just kind of like how why Drogue is in charge of Brux's, because you know, someone needs help, I come and help, regardless of the situation. So yeah, you guys spend pretty much all day just moving pieces, very large metallic objects, fitting them together. Between Alamos and Liv, they're able to either dexterously finesse or change sizes to be able to get in and connect parts and flip levers and activate switches and whatnot. At some point, ProTech, you get asked to bring over this massive stone that kind of glows when you hug it too tightly. It's like you're lifting it and then you kind of give it like, I got this, and it's like you give it a little squeeze and it starts to glow and you're just like, whoa, okay. You know, Loheim's like, all right, put it here, and kind of snaps it in, and all right, we'll put this other large metallic object on top of it and seal it. And you know, by the time it starts getting dark, Loheim is like, all right, that should be enough. Take it from here. Thank you for all your help. And
Okay.
I guess if you're curious, I would need a intelligence check.
Oh boy.
Squeak, squeaking and squeak, squeaking.
Damn it.
Not better.
Even I rolled better.
You have a minus to your intelligence, Nani.
I said the DC for this as a 12. So yeah, none of you can really kind of figure out what you were asked to help put together.
We're here for muscle, not for smarts.
Exactly. Hello, I was all right, cool, and you know, he all, you know, pays you guys handsomely. You guys each get 200 gold for moving some stuff around. Yeah, right.
That is handsomely.
200 gold coins a piece.
The Almo, or at least Delta's kind of crouches down, kind of like shoulder nudge. If it's changed quickly. Let's be honest with me. Is this a bomb? Did we just make a bomb?
No.
You can tell me.
No.
Well, I'm out of ideas.
Okay. You know, and he says, you know, with your guys' help, he should be able to finish his project in a couple more days, and then he'll be willing to show you guys.
Squeak, squeaking, squeak, squeaking. Oh, yeah. No.
You're probably like riding around on like Protect's shoulder sort of thing.
Yeah.
Not wanting to get out of wild shape because you only have a couple of shapes you can do a day. So just in case they need you, you're just like, fuck it, I'll just stay in mouse form. But yeah, you know, from early morning until it got really nice and dark, you know, just past supper time kind of thing. You guys are kind of dismissed.
Almost just kind of stands there, just awkwardly, like,
What now? What do I do now?
I guess go back to do whatever you do in a normal night. Eat, sleep, be merry. See what everyone else is still working on. I'm sure your team's got other projects.
It's so they don't invite me to anything.
They don't invite you for anything?
No. I'm here to help.
Alrighty. I guess I can show you what we've been working on. You know, come to my workshop in the morning and You can help me put the final pieces together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does Protector Alamos have speak with animals?
I mean, I
So
do
you-
know how.
The way Alamos
If
just,
I
like,
remember to
it's
cast it.
very- just the way Alamos talking is just like very oblivious, yet awkward. It's like I haven't quite got the free will thing knocked down yet.
Because Liv, if you're casting it or you just hear it, I'm squeaking, just saying cheese, 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 please, 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 please.
Nope.
Well, I mean, you
Just
got
making mouse sounds.
200 gold that someone's probably carrying around for you.
Right.
Might have to stop at the
You get a
market to
lot of
get a
cheese
wheel of
with that.
cheese for the mouse.
You could get at least 2.
You're a
Liv-
terrible
Liv-
negotiator.
Liv, every time she wild shapes, it's not like she loses her intelligence. It's just that she likes acting like the animal in a way that she's like, oh yeah, I want cheese now.
Like, well, I'm in the mouse
diplomat.
form. I'm
Not a
hungry.
very good
I want cheese.
negotiator.
Yeah, so for the day, what was Crossus up and doing?
His own pet projects. I actually posted it in the Saturday chat, but I was looking to go pick up a ring and a robe, just a plain ring and robe, nothing fancy. But I was going to trade in or sell my long gun because I had out of it I had changed some things around on the firearm modification sheet that I've been working on. And there's the hunting rifle. It's hard to find, but if you go to the gunner's firearm table, it lists it there. But if you just go and type in firearms and D&D Beyond, it doesn't list it. It's really freaking annoying. So I was going to trade my long gun in to try to find a hunting rifle, and then I don't know, whatever gold I had extra, buy parts to add some modifications to it.
Gotcha. You also sound kind of far away, like you're using your webcam mic. The more you moved back, the more you slunk back, the further from the microphone it sounded like. But
Okay,
just thought.
that's good to know because the system might have
Switched it.
Swapped over to it. Yeah.
Yes, but it happens to enough people to where I'm like, hey, I know you have a headset, but you sound farther away than normal, so you might want to double check that. Okay.
Yeah, it's set to the that's weird. Yeah, microphone, chat. Yeah.
It could have just been how you were sitting. Too.
Maybe, yeah. But yeah, that's what my plan was.
So any kind of ring, any kind of robe?
Yeah, just a basic plain ring and robe, nothing fancy.
Any kind of coloring to the robe in specific?
We will try to go with brown, foresty colors. Camouflage.
Oh yeah, you easily
Camouflage patterns.
you easily go travel the market, and because it's just like a regular mundane ring, there's plenty of little jewelers that know how to bend some metal to make it look nice. And whether you just want a band or anything fancy, it might take a little bit extra looking, but if it's just a plain band, yeah, there's plenty. Dirt cheap, maybe like 5 gold a pop. And then robe, similar. Robes and cloaks are a high easy commodity in Bruxus, considering by the water with the weather patterns and all that kind of stuff. It's just everyone's got one. So it's very easy to come across that. You know, they probably sell a good one, especially one big enough for like the wings and everything like that to cover, you know, like 10 gold or something like that. Very,
Alright.
very, very simple and easy to come across.
Okay.
As far as the rifle,
Yeah, because I'm gonna trade in the long gun that I had, and I'm gonna kind of change up, and I'm going to go to a that hunting rifle that's shown on D&D Beyond. I've changed it up to make it only a one shot. They have it set for a 5 reload score.
ooh,
I'm thinking it can make it be a 1 reload, but it's going to have an enchantment on it anyways. So, or an infusion.
okay.
So, I'm
Let's see, for the gunslinger firearm table, like where they got the, so what we'd be looking for, like a blunderbuss kind of thing, or more of a modified musket.
more like a modified musket.
Okay.
It's not like the long gun. Because the hunting rifle has it's a 2D. Where was it? It's a 2D10, dropping from the 2D12 that the long gun was.
Do you have a website that you're looking at this from? Because I feel like it might be different from mine.
Let me pull it up on D&D.
Okay.
Because it's also a possibility that my
Because
infusions might have changed it.
oh yeah, because it's like I got the, oh yeah, if you're adding infusions to it, it might not show up on mine. And then you said that you wanted one with modifications.
Oh wait, no, that's not the that's not the table I was thinking of. Where is that table? I know it's around here somewhere. You know what? I believe that table is actually in the Dungeon Master's guide under the firearms ruling. Is it? Is it firearms? Because they have. There's a multiple.
Dungeons Master Guide. Renaissance items, modern items, so like an actual hunting rifle, 2D10 piercing, 8 pounds.
Yes, that one. Yeah, so it's modern. It's
80
considered modern, but if we think about it, kind of think of like.
Yeah,
more
and
of
as
like
long
an
as you
actual
have
hunting
the martial ranged. Yeah.
Yeah.
5 shots, reload, 2-handed. And
I was thinking
then
we can change that to a 1 shot, and unless you want to keep it at the 5 reload, that's fine with me. I don't really care. Because, like I said, the infusion repeating shot is going to go on to it, so that kind
Okay.
of negates it. But yeah, trading the long gun in for that modern hunting like rifle.
Okay. And then modifications, or is it just your infusions, or?
So the modification, I was looking to add a telescope sight, which would potentially increase the range, and like give advantage on perception when viewing through it.
Okay.
The here, I'll just send them all kind of to you in chat because I'll just copy and paste. But it's probably going to be at least like a couple of day project.
Oh yeah, in order to like define the weapon is one thing.
Yeah.
It might even be something that it gets handed off to Loheim, or now that you guys have met another particular smith,
Blacksmith. That's who I was actually going to go and talk with and be
Can you
like,
go talk to Brock?
could you kind of help me with some of these? Yeah, because like obviously I'm good. My background is I was raised by a dwarf and in a smithing, but this guy probably knows some tricks that I may not. But yeah, I was gonna go ask him also to see if I can't get some assistance with the modifications.
And I'll help.
So let me.
I love how you have Brock and Protec and then Loheim and Alamos. It's like choose your path.
Daniel, I'm gonna need more information to that thing that you sent.
What do you mean? Like, what kind of info?
Has a load of hatches in that. What?
Oh, hang on. Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Hand hatches for a spell? What?
Hang on, I'll elaborate. Hang on.
Yes, please. Because otherwise, it's like you make no sense.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm fucking writing it.
go on. All right, and so while I am potentially waiting for information from Josh, we'll say we go into the next day. What are y'all doing this other day?
Apparently, I'm helping to build a rifle. Or not.
Hey, that's your call. I am more than happy for more hands is always better. I always say in some way.
Help action, help action, help action, help action.
And then it was the
Exactly.
No one gave me cheese on the other day.
okay. I DM'd you the modifications and their characteristics.
Okay. This will definitely have to probably be a homebrew tweak. But can be done. Okay, cool.
But that's what Crosses is going to work on, and that's his project.
That's his project for the whole time being.
For the time being, yep. He's on this thing of building rifles and improving because eventually I might be able to get to spell storing, which allows me to put a spell into an unenchanted item.
So I have a question about my cloak.
Okay.
Can I move around after I turn invisible?
Can you what?
Move around, like walk while being invisible with the cloak on.
You're gonna be able to.
activated.
You're gonna be able to, unless it says otherwise.
Hey, I don't remember if I'm actually said
I thought it was that you could move while still. I don't remember either.
Cloak shifts color and texture to blend with the terrain surrounding you. So it's kind of similar to like the displacement cloak, to where it's always trying, like if you get too close to a wall, it's going to automatically try to pick up the same colorings of the wall behind you, just so that if you do decide to go into a hide action, you're not penalized by what you're trying to hide behind.
Right.
it doesn't necessarily make you invisible per se.
Like camouflage.
It's
More
like
like camouflage.
it's just camouflage. So when you decide to try to hide, normally most people when they go into hide, depending on what they hide behind, you hide behind a tree, you get full coverage. You hide behind like a barrel, you might be half coverage. But even in a lightly obscured area, even where most people trying to hide, they still be partially seen. Your cloak blends in so well to your background that you get a full hide in places where you wouldn't be able to get a full hide. That makes sense. So like you could hide behind a pole, half of your body still showing, you're lightly obscured, but because of your cloak, it counts as full coverage.
Okay.
So even if someone's looking at you and you go walk behind a pole that's like half your size, you'll just visually disappear.
Okay.
Because your cloak blends in so much with the surroundings, you just become this little pigmented moving, you've probably played games or seen videos where it's like someone's cloaked, you can kind of see that shimmery outline. You can still be spotted. They just have a much higher roll to try to see you.
Right.
So yeah, it's one of those type of things where, especially out in the wilderness, you can hide in plain sight. You can just be having your head poke out of a bush, but they can't see you.
Okay.
You could climb a tree and hold your action and just stare at somebody, and they're looking up right at you and going, "All I see is a tree." It's like a fucking Where's Waldo, where it's like find the deer, and it like when you see it, it's like right there, and you're like, ah, shit. But then if you do have hide actions, it allows you to get the drop on somebody, because if they don't see you, you get advantage.
Right, but there's only one charge per day.
Yeah. So use it wisely.
Is it one charge per day, or is it one charge after a short long rest?
It could be. Again.
No. You gotta read the whole thing. So yeah, normally base thing. While wearing the armor, you get +2 to AC. You have advantage on saving throws against frightful presence and breath weapons of dragons. So if you're fighting a dragon, you have advantage on things. Surprisingly, though, you weren't around the last time they fought a horde of dragons.
Right.
But you would have had resistance and stuff like that. Then the once per day charge is that you can focus your senses as an action to magically discern the distance and direction of the closest gold dragon within 30 miles of you.
Okay.
This special action can't be used to get day into the next dawn.
Okay.
The next dawn.
So the charge is only for detecting.
For that, that second chunk of stuff, the additionally.
Right.
But then because it's a mixture because it's a fusion of two different armor items, then you have the special ability to where naturally, again, the cloak shifts color and texture to blend in with the terrain surrounding you. While wearing the cloak, you can use it as a spellcasting focus for your armor and for your druid and ranger spells. And then while you are in a lightly obscured area, so like it could just be raining, and you're just going to shimmer out of existence because your cloak's going to blend into the environment behind you, kind of deal.
Gosh,
you can hide. While in lightly obscured area, you can hide as a bonus action, even if you are being directly obscured. So normally, if someone's looking at you, you can't get any benefit from a hide action because they've already seen you. But you just kind of go, and I'm gone. Shimmer away. You just fade away. But it's only the detecting of the gold dragon ability that you can use once a day. Everything else is constant.
Because I was thinking of following Kythos for the rest of the day today.
Oh.
I spent my day finding people. Unless this is a different day.
No. Well, this is day 2. So you spent
day one was getting the list of names and all that jazz. And getting descriptions. And then working with Abra to get my list of who might still be alive. Day two was Leonin and
well, I figured you guys came in, rested. Your first day that you started going about the town, you got the whole Roslyn stuff figured out, the Zaya stuff figured out, and then you guys came back, on the same, we're talking, so yesterday, at the same time that you were hunting down the Leonins and whatnot, Crassus was working on a project. The other 4 were moving stuff for brain farts. Berliosin. Or Loheim. Doing stuff for Loheim, and so yeah, day 2, Crassus is still working on gun project. Protech, I think you said you were going to go down and talk to Brock anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So helping with whatever.
Continue helping him with the backlog.
Yep, trying to backlog, which it's you find out that day that this dude can churn stuff out. And he seems like today, especially now that he's like fully backing out, he's got this like giddiness about him where he's kind of lost that like super stern fuck off attitude kind of deal. He's kind of going back, like he's whistling a tune while he's working. He's just chugging away. Like this is what he clearly loves to be doing.
I'm gonna probably let him handle most of the new projects like the rifle and things like that, whereas general maintenance and repair and stuff that needs a smithy but really hasn't been taken care of over the last few years. More of that stuff, I'm gonna be like, oh, this just needs to be repaired, this needs to be sharpened, just kind of busy work.
So yeah, so that ends up being your thing today. Alamos, you're going to check in with Loheim.
Yeah.
Then Liv is following Kythos. Obscured background. For shits and giggles, Kythos, roll me a perception check.
Ooh, nice.
And then Liv, I need a stealth check. With advantage.
Spicy.
Liv is following you without hopefully being noticed. But as we've also stated earlier, even if Kythos doesn't see Liv, Kythos has another strong sense that can be used in this situation.
The reason why I hate stealth is because I have disadvantage in it, but I'm proficient in it.
Why do you have disadvantage?
Why do you have disadvantage?
Why do you have a disadvantage?
The armor.
Is it the armor?
The armor gives me disadvantage.
Which armor are you using? You're using druid armor, right?
Golden mantle armor.
Oh shit!
That's
it does
why I
give
was
disadvantage
so-
on
that's
stuff.
why
Oh, it's
because
shiny,
it's
isn't it?
it's scale mail. Yeah.
That's why I
Yeah.
was so gassed to get the. I had scale before, and that's why I was so gassed to get the Mythal plate, because I've got a plus 13 to stealth.
It's
But
because
having that scale hurt.
It's because it's fused with the golden scales of that gold dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So So in this case situation, you would no. In this situation, you would still roll it normally then,
I would.
because you're using your druid's ability to hide, right?
Yeah.
So that would give you advantage, and if the shiny part of the armor gives you disadvantage, it'd become a normal roll.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not so horrible.
Wait.
So-
Can I tell that Liv is trying to like practice the sneaking?
Just from the distance away, we'll say that because of the mantle's shimmer ability, that you can't necessarily see Liv, but your nose smells the familiar scent. You know that Liv is there and
The
following.
familiar scent of naked.
No, you got armor. You got close.
Oh yeah, true.
Can I make it seem like I don't notice Liv?
You can play it off however you want.
Cool.
If you want to play it off as, oh, I don't notice shit, then
Oh. So rude.
then Liv, you have no idea that you've been found, but that's fine.
Right. I have
You-
no idea what's happening. I'm just following.
Yep. Yeah, because especially with with your particular armor while moving, because your druid armor is made out of like natural material, you have the golden scale mail etched onto it. So when you're standing still, I would say you have full advantage on your hide. But since you are moving, you're kind of running in between. Your armor can make you disappear, but your chainmail is going ching, ching, ching the entire time. You kind of make noise when you move.
Okay.
Because welcome to anyone who has ever worn like chain or plate. No matter how quiet you think you are, how slowly you try to move, ain't gonna make noise.
Perfect example is having disadvantage on plus 13 stealth.
Yeah, right. So yeah, you're following Kythos. Kythos is on the hunt for more names.
Mm-hmm.
And just to kind of speed up some of this, you find one of your names, Dark Charleston, who's a friend of one of the townies that sent you to try to find him, kind of thing. Like, so you have Dargs around, like, not family, but just like a close friend. Al's got her booze in a sippy cup.
Yep. Apparently, it's all alcohol.
Oh, hell yeah. Nice.
Oh, there's a splash of peach syrup. And some seltzer. That much seltzer? So less than a shot of seltzer.
Full shot.
This is why I sometimes get paranoid when I come and visit. Because I know how she mixes.
You're driving, it's fine.
Yeah. Well, like even at like events when it's been offered, it's like.
Especially if you're well aware of your limits too, you know.
Love just doing ching 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 all the way.
Yeah, and you can keep practicing by like trying to like run up and hide behind something and dropping another stealth check and whatnot. And you know how well do you notice that you're making the noise, and what do you try to do to stop it, kind of deal. And
I jump my hand up on the scale mail and just hold it.
yeah, it's just kind of like infused around it. It's
Alright, so you said to simplify.
Yep. So you found Dark Charlton, who's a friend of one of the townies, like one of the people on your list. Okay, cool. Found them. Their friend. You told them where they were at. not everybody is like eager to like, well, I'll follow you down and you'll introduce us kind of thing. It's just been kind of like, oh, you mean they're back? Like some people have been really receptive to your explanation of the town being returned, and they're all like, I must see. Boom, they're off. And then
I'm still going about with the whole
word of mouth is going to
trying
make
to,
it
like,
a lot worse.
part of this is me explaining to them, like, do not spread this word around.
Mhm.
Like, want to start with the people where we know your people are in the town first, so that way, when they do announce it, it'll be kind of with that air of, if you weren't talked to already,
Yep.
then your person's not there.
Yep. And you spend a couple more hours looking around. You do find another weird name off of your list, Shotha Quinton. You figure out from talking with people where they are staying. Now, originally you were given an address. That person, no one lives there anymore.
Right.
You found out that a whole different family lives there now. It's been kind of weirded out, but talking like, I'm looking for this particular person. According to Abra, they're not dead, so they must still be in the town. And they kind of point you to another house on the farther side of town. So you trek over there and you knock, and there's this really like awkward female that comes to the door, like, yes, how can I help you? And start giving your spiel, asking if they are Shotha,
Right.
which they are. They're just kind of like, yes, it's like, what's going on? And you start explaining the town, and instead of happiness like everybody else or shock, you kind of get this, oh, okay.
Okay.
When you were kind of met with this unintuitive response.
Doesn't take too much of an insight check of like.
Yeah, and even when you're looking back at like, your notes about the name, she was one of the townie's lovers.
Gotcha.
They weren't family, they weren't married, they weren't anything like that. They were just, the guy wants to know if his girlfriend's still around. Yeah. However, as she explains, she's like, well, I'm glad he's back, but it's been over 10 years. And, when you mention the other house, like I was given another address, yeah, that's where he used to live, but it got sold when we thought that he had died. And you kind of hear a voice in the background like, honey, when are you coming? Are you coming to join me for this and stuff like that? And you kind of very easily piece it together that she's moved on. She found another. And even though she's kind of like, she gives you a genuine smile when you say that the townie is, alive and well and whatnot. She's like, I'm very happy for that, but
moved on. Yeah.
She moved on.
How hooked was the townie? Like when he was giving a description of her, like was it that like, oh, hopefully we can start, pick back up where we left off or something, or was it just a genuine?
He's hoping she waited.
Oh, 10 years?
10 years, buddy.
Oh,
She thought you
buddy.
were dead.
Oh dear.
Yeah, and so that's gonna be a bit of a.
I'm gonna
That's
ask
a
her
rough
and
one
be
to
like,
explain.
Do you want me to lie to him? Like, does she even look like how he described? Really?
Oh, to the T.
Great. Okay.
If anything,
that's
he has
even
probably
worse.
had her on his mind the entire 10 years, like even down to like the location of like a freckle is like spot fucking on.
Oh
Right.
no. Oh dear.
Okay.
But when you ask if you want to lie, if she want to lie for her, she's like intrigued, like, what do you mean?
Do you want me to tell him you're dead? Or do you want me to figure out how to break this to him gently?
If he decides to try to move,
Hooked.
the chances of the two, like, she's concerned because the chances of those two running into town, it's going to be inevitable. It's going to happen.
Okay. So like work. All right.
And so even though she's all about like you tell them whatever you want, at the same time she's like, well, probably not tell them that I'm dead when I'm not, because then that's really going to just keep them off.
She should confront him.
Do you want to write a note for me to pass off to him? Do you want to talk?
You know
to
what?
him?
That's a good idea. Like she invites you in for a bit. Introduces you to her half-orc husband. 10 years. She met somebody new and they're married and whatnot. They seem to be thriving. She goes over to one of the tables and takes out some parchment and ink and starts scribbling like this, Dear John letter.
Yep.
Essentially, that's what it is. Yeah. Yeah. But just like explaining, sorry, but hopefully, and it's nothing ill. Like
when
you've heard of horror stories. Yeah, you've heard of horror stories of relationships that's like, well, I was hoping that they'd wait, and then they get like enraged when they find out that person's back.
Oh no!
Instead, it's just nope. He can go do whatever the fuck he wants.
Drinking.
Just not with me. Yep.
Yeah. I think when we get invited in, will probably be when Kaithos probably gives up on pretending to live. It's when Kaithos gets invited in. Kaithos is gonna be like, "I'll be back in a minute, live." Just goes in.
And surprisingly, the husband, when you're talking about like what you're doing for the townies and whatnot, asks who else you have on the list, because he actually works or used to work with one of the delivery companies that would take product back and forth. So he's like, I knew a lot of the people down there. So who else are you trying to look for? Like what other families are you trying to find?
Fuck yeah.
While the girlfriend's writing the letter and whatnot, and you're just kind of like, yeah, here's the names I still got. He points out one name on your list. Inko Ungart, which you have listed as one of the townies' grandfathers. The last known surviving member kind of thing. And unfortunately, in like the last year, the grandfather had passed.
Oh.
Wait, when Abra marked him as not somebody I'd find? I do still have the full list, though.
Yes, but not only for the full list, is she had a list of people who perished in the attack. This death had been so not so long ago that you can tell that it hasn't been added to her book yet. However, hasn't been fully recorded. But he does mention that there's a park, where they actually erected like a small little memorial plaque, because apparently this grandfather was known to helped rebuild Bruxus when after the attack and stuff like that. So they kind of threw a little honor there. So grandfather's gone, but there's a spot in town or in the city that has like a memory piece and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
And then
Liv is now probably trying to hide in a different area.
Stealth check.
Like
moving or not moving? Moving or not moving?
Not moving.
Right. Advantage.
So flat.
No, you get advantage.
No. Yeah.
You get the disadvantage. You get the disadvantage when you're moving.
So the plates aren't clinking.
Okay, so I'll just roll one more time. Natural 20.
Nice.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
Oh, you just rolled naturally. You didn't roll with advantage on that, but whatever. It's fine.
because he rolled
Yeah.
like before, so it's just the 14 was a flat roll, so
So I
just second
roll
flat roll.
perception. I mean, I'll probably try to look for Liv, like step out the door. So I'll roll.
Yeah.
Do you want me to roll?
Yeah.
I would
What are the
laughed. I
odds?
also got a 20.
That would have been really
you're-
funny.
You knew that Liv was following, so at some point you kind of peeked the head out the door to see if Liv's around, and you're like, hey,
Yeah.
what the fuck? Oh, okay. And there's that moment of contemplation of don't know
Where's Liv?
if Liv wandered off or if Liv just got really good at wherever Liv is at. So you're just kind of like, okay then. He closes the door, goes back inside. You know, for all you know, like Liv's face like glued to the window, like hi. But no one notices. And then to help your search even further, you get an address for one of the other names. One of the last names on your list that you were trying to hunt down. Like, oh, I know where this person lives. They're, down the road, across the road on the other side of the river, kind of thing.
Down by the creek.
And so, about like a half an hour after, just coming in and talking, the girl gives you this really nice, pops it into an envelope, seals it with wax, hands it to you, and be like, hopefully he's finds closure with this.
Yeah,
That's gonna be
it's
some.
gonna be. How much of a lightweight is he? Is he a lightweight drinking wise?
I remember, yeah.
Is he a violet drunk?
No.
Okay.
If anything,
It's like,
I would classify him as a crier.
Oh!
Oh
First kind.
no, it's getting worse.
Andreas, I have a job for you.
Right?
Mm-mm.
He's not here. He can deal with that. Yep.
Yup, exactly.
Oh,
Andreas
no.
also seems like the type of drunk that's either going to get in a
Would
fight
cry.
or cry.
Yeah, right.
It's either fighting, trying to find the biggest person to fight in the bar, or he's going to cry. That's the vibe I get.
He'll sit down. He'll sit
Depends
down
on
with
the-
the. He'll sit
Is
down
he
with
an
the
angry
ex-boyfriend and be
drunk?
like,
No, he's gonna
fingers
break
forward.
down into a puddle of nothing with bad news. Yeah, so it's like, oh shit. So yeah,
I'm just- still.
you take
Then
this
he'll at least
information not.
process it.
Yeah, it's like you take this information not wanting to do what you need to do, but
Giving that to Andreas.
cool.
Delegate. Exactly. Delegation is always
Yeah.
key to good leadership.
Try don't get too stressed out. It's fine. All right, so I'll mark the one dude. Yeah, the dude said the grandfather dude is dead. What was the other stuff? He just pointed out more addresses and stuff for me.
Yep, there's one more name on your list. Volan Marston.
Cool.
You get a whole address, like, oh, I know what he is. He's a feisty dwarf, but that's where he stays, and you're just like, all right, let's go.
I'm gonna ask the precursor this time, seeing as this is the first occurrence of somebody being like, "Oh, this person's looking for me." Be like, will they be happy to find out this news, or it's a dwarf? I don't know. It's 50-50 shot. Yeah.
The half works like, I don't know. It depends. I know he's a bit of a grump, but
Okay, so
He's
he's
a
just
dwarf.
got resting dwarf face. Got it.
yeah, he's and you
Okay.
know that like family member is as hoping that he finds him, kind of thing. But I think it's like
Mhm.
so Volan is the uncle of one of the townies.
Gotcha.
So it's like, hey, family member. So yeah, you go heading off. A very stealthy, live in tow, probably making noise eventually. Which kind of
Yeah,
would
probably.
more or less alert you that Liv is there.
It's just like, okay, she is still here, but I don't necessarily notice it.
Yeah.
Leave her.
It's like for anybody who's ever had like a jacket that's like really soft and fluffy, but because it's got a metal zipper, it just tings on every
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
thing. Ting, ting, ting. What the fuck is that noise?
I'm sorry, it's my zipper.
Freaking Springer. She's all black on top, so moving through the house at night. And she
Mm.
jingle,
Gosh,
jingle.
yep. I have similar black dog problems.
No way, baby girl. Like if we go to that one place and it's during fall or winter months, I actually have a light up collar for her.
Nice.
It flashes bright orange.
Nice.
Which is really fun when she starts running because she's got the big floppy ears. She does like the galloping, so I'll get like flashes of color as she's galloping towards me.
Hey, we're having ba-da.
You can tell if she's walking, running, or trolloping. Yeah.
Liv is still following. Yes, the noise is still there.
That's good. That's fine.
Just
Getting
enough. Like you're
practice. Don't let her
still
get practice.
more or less invisible, but because you are moving, you're trying your best to like do it. But I know Kaitos has a fairly high passive perception, so yeah, he'll probably hears the noise.
Yeah.
And so you get across town. To Volan's house. And it's a kind of like a smaller building compared to some of these houses. It looks well kept. But even the floor mat, however, like you go up there, the doormat do you know Dwarvish?
Remember, I don't think I did. No, I am not a language junkie. I know Common and Leonin, and that's it.
Liv, how about you?
No.
Okay. So the floor mat is unknown letterings to the two of you. But
Either
you don't.
of you have no like comprehend language or anything as a spell?
I don't
So
think
it's
I do. Let me double
so
check.
essentially.
I don't think I do though.
Yeah.
What level is it? It's fine.
I think it's like a first level spell.
First or second level, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
All
right.
Let me look at my feats though. I think I picked up something. I don't know.
I was out of character suggestion just to.
But yeah, so as far as you know, there's some sort of dwarvish phrasing on the doormat in front of the door. But you can't read it. You don't know what it says.
I mean, I'll keep I'll make myself a mental picture and ask someone later.
Mm-hmm. So what do you do?
I will knock on the door. I will knock on the door in a very dwarvish type way, so it is not gentle.
Mm-hmm.
It's very much slamming fist on door loudly.
And you get to go away.
Rawr.
Oh man. Does he sound like? Is it just a dwarvish? I don't want to answer the fucking door. Go away, or is it he's upset about something else?
Just sounds like grumpy dwarvish.
Okay.
Grumpy dwarf.
I will. What's the name of the person who gave me his name? Man, if I was an elf, I would handle this totally differently. Be slewing insults at him just to get him to give him.
I'm just gonna say Drake
Vicious mockery in that
because
twin.
my
You're a short motherfucker.
obviously I don't know how to spell because it looked like I was trying to say I was trying to spell Draken, but then crossed it off and wrote it again, and the only thing I could make out now is like Drake. So let's just say his name is Drake.
Cool. All right. That's the person who sent me to search for him.
Yep, his nephew.
Oh yeah, I'll just shut the door and be like, I don't think Drake would want that. Just.
And there's this like silent response before you just hear door flies open.
I'll take like a step back. Does the door open out or in?
In.
Okay, good.
Door flies open and you see this short, almost balding. There's some puffs of white hair that's kind of sticking out in all directions. Big burly fucking beard. But just two angry eyes. Just, fuck did you say?
Said Drake would be upset if I didn't do my due diligence in informing you he's back.
Good for him. Slams the door.
Charming. I just realized I had to echo on shit.
How long was Drake? And did Drake give me any warnings or any way to fully like?
Nope.
Well, if you want him, and I'll give the location of the town area. You'll find him in this building in that area, and I'll just start walking away at that.
Not gonna fight him, kind of deal.
Yeah, just be like, he's at this address in the section of town that used to be demolished. Gone.
All right. So
I don't know if he'll react to that, but yeah, just.
No, there doesn't seem to be any kind of response to the door. So you head back to.
I'm gonna try it. Like, I'll take out a piece of paper and scribble what I see on the doormat.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, like, do the same shapes. Okay, and then head back. Or find another person. I don't know how long it would take me. But that was pretty fast.
All right.
Yeah, roll like it scribbles the thing. It's like I should have sent Thorny to deal with this guy.
But so you head back over to the townies. You check in with the information that you know. You hand off the letter to Andreas.
Be like, you go find this guy. You are going to take him to the bar. You're gonna let him have at least one drink, and then you're gonna give him this. And then you're gonna give him more drinks, okay?
And Andreas, being Andreas, is just happy that he gets to go out and drink. He's like, yeah, sure, I'll go out and treat this dude well. Like, fuck yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
So he'll take off with the letter.
Getting broken up with, but 10 years. It's weird. Whatever. It's getting
10
broken
years
up
overdue.
with. Yeah.
Andreas takes the letter. He's like, all right, let me go find this guy. And like 30 seconds later, you see Jax poke his head out behind his bed, grab his loot, and go, I need to go see this. And takes off too. Like, I'll let you know how it goes.
Thank you. At least you're there to make sure.
The problem with how chaotic Jax is that here's the cool thing about the bars. He can sit there and choose his inspiration. So if he wants to make it worse for Andreas, he's going to keep pumping music that's going to be helpful for the crier and back and forth. So he's like, oh, I'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give Jax like the rundown of like, yeah, it sounds like he was hoping she.
Perma, if you're still watching, you're fucked.
She did not. He was hoping she would wait for him. She did not.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, it's 10 years, and you think he's dead.
This is gonna be juicy.
Great, glad to provide.
He's gonna come up with a really good freaking rom-com ballad.
Oh yeah.
That's
And so so that happens with that. But otherwise you go and check in with everybody else, explain, the one guy finds out that his grandfather died, was like, oh well, given his age, okay, not that surprising, just sucks. And then you mentioned the memorial in one of the parks, and he's all like, oh, that's great, his favorite spot to go. So, doesn't seem all that like distraught about it. But at some point you're wandering outside and you see Andreas has got his arm around the boyfriend as he's taking him over to the inn, and
Jax is following.
oh, Jax is already at the tavern. Like he knows where they're going. So Andreas went to find the dude, and Jax is like, I'm gonna set the mood. What will probably happen is Jax is going to be like, hey, I'm tonight's performer. And he's going to sit there and play some tunes while he's listening in to this conversation with Andreas and the guy. And, Andreas is like, hey, let's have a couple of beers. And he's still like, well, why are you bringing me here? And he's like, because we have reasons to drink. So let's go out and have a couple. And, for shits and giggles, like, we're alive, the town, and Andreas, I would say, is just smart enough to be mentioning, like, Drogo's going to mention the town's return, in the next day or so. So, for all those that are happy to see us come in. So he's actually getting excited, thinking, yeah. For those that need to know we're here and they're going to be excited to find out that we're here. Yeah, let's drink and celebrate and whatnot.
Oh, buddy.
Dude has two pints and he's getting sloshed. And that's when Andreas goes, oh yeah, I need to give you this. And he's doing the whole one arm over the shoulder, like, I'm figured you needed a couple before you get to read this, sorry, bud, but things will get better. Reasons to drink, reasons to celebrate, let's go. And the guy's like,
fish in the sea.
what do you mean? And he realizes that it was given, like, it was sent to him by his girlfriend. And he was all like, oh my gosh, this is great. Pops it open, takes out the letter, gets all happy faced. And as Jax explains it, the poetic scenery of watching life get sucked out of happiness itself.
Oh no.
As he's sitting there strumming away, he's watching this dude talking with Andreas, all happy and go lucky, get crumbles down, and he's reading it, and the dude starts bawling before he even gets to the end of the letter. And Andreas is like, it's okay, here, have another drink. And at some point, Jack describes a situation where the dude's crying on Andreas' shoulder, and Andreas is giving the someone help me out of this. And it's like, nope, he's kind of stuck. Jax relays letter that, like, yo, you said he was a crier. Oh, the dude's a crier. He basically flooded out the bar 3 hours into the 3 hours later kind of deal. And
So he's a baller. Torrential downpour.
by the time Jax got bored and ended up leaving, he last remembered Andreas was more hammered than the dude. But the dude was so hammered they were still talking to each other, but neither one could form coherent sentences anymore.
Because one dude was still crying while drunk.
Yep.
Oh, that's sucks for
Depressing.
Poetic sadness.
Yeah.
I was going for the
not everyone gets a happy ending.
Mm-mm.
Well, unless you pay for one at a massage parlor.
I mean,
Not even
Oh,
then.
boy. Yeah, even then, in most places, that's illegal. However,
Swiftly moving on.
swiftly moving on. You guys end up coming back, sleeping. Protech, you get to come back. Like, it took all day You get to come back with news for Crosses that hopefully in another given day, his project will be completed. And of course, Cross is like, well, how's it look? And Protex just like ear to ear, just like, oh, you need to see it.
I'm involved too. I got to be involved also.
Oh yeah, you've given the designs and what you're expecting. Let the Smiths do their work.
Yeah, and then I'll put it all together.
Hell yeah.
I got to keep my gunsmithing skills up, you know. Somebody's going to want to pick up a firearm that can shoot Scorching Ray 10 times in a day.
Yeah. You've got a firearm that can shoot regular bullets, and then a firearm that also does Dragon's Breath 10 times.
Yeah. Artificers, I think it's like 12th level or something like that. I'd have to double check.
So
Get the spell storing ability, and it is double their intelligence modifier. Mine is 5. So I could store a first or second level spell into an item, weapon, or something that's not magical, and somebody can then run around with Scorching Ray and be able to cast it up to 10 times a day.
Oh dear God.
So now we go to Daniel. Daniel.
Hi.
So are you trying to make Fog Cloud lethal?
Yeah.
Fog Cloud, huh?
Yeah.
Because even your re-explanation of it, like first you're talking about the math.
Forcing
First you're
compressed air into someone's skull.
through. So you're talking like you need to kiss somebody, but then you're talking about and hatch opens up in the arm.
It's literally just like, imagine there's just like a hole in my hand. I press that into their mouth, and then there's just fog cloud that just erupts into their face.
So think a gas mask, except for, instead of keeping stuff from getting into the mask,
it's forcing it all in. This is what a DM hates me.
I believe I've seen this happen with individuals using a motorcycle helmet to hotbox themselves.
Well, do you not know about the bog gas masks? They're a thing.
Oh,
So
fuck off.
Yeah.
No way.
So here's the problem with Fog Cloud.
Yeah, like I said,
it just creates
gonna happen.
Fog, not gas, not
I know
poison.
It was meant to be toxic.
If it was poison cloud, that'd be a whole different thing.
No, but imagine literally just almost compressed air.
So you want to be able to potentially
explode heads,
cast a fog cloud, which normally is created in a 20-foot radius sphere of fog,
into a compressed space. So imagine I'm almost like thinking like the perspective of what I would see. So I put my hand up to someone's face. Then there's a little hatch that opens up on the arm, which has a tube inside of the arm. So I'm basically compressing the fog cloud to shoot out my hand.
So you essentially need you want to create something that can allows you to basically store the spell.
Not necessarily store. Like I don't need to. It's not. I don't. Well, at least I don't think I would need to precast it. I just need that funnel, if that makes sense. It's just a tight, compact space. I can just look, cast it, and then it just shoots out the other end. Because it does describe it as having physics, like moving around corners and stuff like that. This is why the DM hates me.
I'm just trying to keep up with the rulings on this.
Oh
'Cause
yeah,
it's a
like I said,
const-
it's
'cause
completely
the con-
DM's ruling. This
'cause
is
it's
just
a
a completely
concentration-
chaotic idea.
A 1 hour long concentration spell that you want to have be able to project it from like your hand,
Yeah,
so that if you're holding someone's face,
yeah.
it basically ejects
Blows
the
them up like a
spell
balloon.
into their mouth,
Yeah.
so that a
20-foot
radius sphere
Fills the
is inside of a person.
Which compressing something makes them explode, I guess.
I mean, basically, if you think about science and what would happen to helium in a balloon, he's pretty much right.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know the ruling of the spell and how that would fully work out.
I don't know either.
Not to mention the setup to get it to function cooperatively.
Spell too. It's a concentration spell also. So.
Oh, I only need it to work for about 5 seconds.
Yeah, even if that 1 hour duration turns into a 1 action cast because you're trying to push compressed air into someone's mouth, hoping that it will be enough compression to basically burst their skull or cause them to start filling up like a balloon and bursting from the chest. Yeah, we I'd say go talk to Loheim.
Yay!
Well, because at this point, it's not necessarily you trying to. Yes, it's not necessarily you needing to be tweaked or have a compartment or anything like that. It's just you have you want to have a clever way to be able to utilize the spell, which can be said about any spell. People can meta a spell that, based on its description, doesn't say I can't do this wild and crazy thing, but as long as the rules of the spell and the rules of the game both synchronize, it is technically possible.
Wasn't there someone that was trying to use water controlling spells as blood bending at one point?
Yes, but that's where we get to the specified thing of water only controls the water.
Yeah.
And not necessarily like the water in the blood. Blood is a completely different object in D&D.
Right. Yep. I mean, like the
now, if it just straight up says you can control liquid, it'd be a whole different story. But when it comes to water control, it specifically states water. So that's where I would say the ruling of it, you wouldn't be able to do it that way. But based on what Fogcloud says, based on how you want to use it, if you ever get into that situation,
it's technically possible.
It's technically possible. You would just need to have some really high, precise rolls in order to really make it work.
I'll speak to Loheim. He's probably gonna look at. He's probably gonna look at us like I'm a fucking psychopath.
Like, hey, Loheim, I want to be able to do this. What? Why?
You do have Deltos running around with you inside.
Exactly. Like, Almos is the fun, but you just have Deltos just running around in circles in the background.
Good and evil, good and evil. Which one are you? Depends on what is legal. And
the only ways you could tell is obviously the color of shifting her eyes, but because they bounce back so quickly now, because of how she's controlled, you don't really. All of us are probably not even realizing that her eyes are shifting that quickly now.
Yeah.
I mean, before it was Almos was a walking epilepsy warning.
Right.
So third day kind of goes off. You guys start preparing because Loheim is constantly telling you, all right, I got, your next adventure begins. But I got something to show you before we go anywhere.
Once I've tracked everyone down. Then Kythos is gonna spend a good chunk of time, like more or less Kythos, like before bed every night, is checking out the sword and like whatnot. But once I find everybody, then like I'll let
That third day, you're gonna kind of just
and-
focus on the sword.
if I found everybody that I know, like,
Yep.
oh, your person's in town somewhere, and I've informed all of those people, I will let Drogue and Rodir know, like, I found all of the people who the people in the small town said might be looking for them. I followed all the ones that would be alive, informed them. So now it's up to you and the rest of the city finds out about the town being back. I've told everybody that. Yeah, I told the people who guaranteed had people alive in the little town part. So your call when the rest of the city finds out.
All right.
And then I'm gonna sit away from people with the sword and figure out what the fuck's going on.
And time to get in touch with yourself.
All right.
Find
I
your inner
guess
chi.
let's start that roll by an Arcana check.
Nice. I know what I'm doing. I know Arcana great. Sword doesn't work.
You're kind of sitting there, you're trying to meditate with what as most people see as just a hilt of a blade. Hilt and crossguard of a blade, and you're just like, oh, come on, why isn't this working? Why can't I get it to ignite? You start trying to focus magically on it. Doesn't seem to react on it.
I mean, yeah, if I'm focusing on the magic half and I'm getting nowhere, I'm gonna start like pretending like it has been extended and like swinging with it, kind of. Like it probably feels weird since there's no actual blade, but it's just like.
But even then, there's
Right.
really like no extended weight either. So you're trying to go in fine. I'm still going to use it as a sword, kind of going back and forth. But nothing seems to really change anything. Potentially at this time, you'd probably start getting frustrated with it. Like it's frustrating because it's like Loheim says you're not broken, so why can't you do the thing?
Yes. What spells do I have? I love how I have yet to pick up detect magic, but I've got detect thoughts and dispel magic.
Did you do it?
And detect thoughts didn't give me anything.
Oh, you had already? Okay.
Oh, let me long rest myself since I casted spells. Let's just reset those. I mean, I'll just like sit holding it, kind of meditating with it. If I see Crosses walking around, I'd be like, can you tell me more than what fucking Loheim told me? Because
It's not the sword's problem. No.
I know that. I'm trying to figure out what the fuck to. Actually, yeah, you know what? Fuck it. I did the try to will it to work before. I'm gonna just hold it and be like, why? What am I doing wrong? Like, I'm talking to the fucking thing now, because fuck it. But I'm gonna reach out with my mind and ask it, I guess. More or less. Like, there are a lot of mental conversations with the sword where I'm like, why don't you want to work? What am I doing wrong? What the fuck's wrong with me? I mean, there's plenty wrong with me. But can you give me more info so I can pinpoint it?
You get this sensation in response. You know, your mind flares up, and you kind of have
I thought you were gonna
broken.
stop with mind flare, and I was gonna be like, "Fuck." So
You get you get a couple of words that come to mind. That says not one of us.
fucking shard in my brain get affected by going through that goddamn portal? I'm gonna put it away, and I'm gonna go find I guess Lilheim?
Mm-hmm.
And it's gonna be very much that, like, not so much storming in, but like
I'm here.
You kind of like march in, open the door. He's at one of his workbenches putting together like what seems to be this control box. You know, putting the last couple of gears together, and there's a bunch of gears and levers, and he's just like, "Oh,
Can you
hi.
stay in my brain?
What? What do you mean?"
So I have the psychic thing where I can psychically talk to people, and like I'll reactivate like I'll link with him,
Mm-hmm.
and that connects just fine, right? Or no?
Yes.
Okay. So I can do this. Part of what amped this up, because it used to not be this strong, but I fought an aboleth thing, and then I got stuck in a statue, but I think it shoved something into my brain, and I'm wondering, going through the portal affected that thing.
I can already tell you, no, it didn't affect you.
Right, but
He stumbles over his wording for a bit and gesturing to the hilt, and it's like, to clarify, these particular blades are only made to be used for one of two specific creatures:
okay.
mind flayers and their thralls. The sword might have thought that you were a thrall, considering your mind sliver from the aboleth. Going through the portal would have probably corrected that thought process.
Gotcha.
However, there is still a chance that you can reattune to it. Mind flayers are all about control and authority and command.
All the things you are not.
Yeah, more. Yeah, don't get out of me, Daniel. You know.
I mean, if Alamos is
Despite-
standing there,
Yeah.
I was
Well,
gonna say, yeah, Alamos
talking
is
about like,
Alamos would probably be in the room
authority,
already.
command. Okay, this is just gonna glare at Alamos and be like, "Don't make me lock you in a mental prison."
But
She already has
like,
Life is a mental prison.
Loheim's like she has a point in the fact of, compared to a mind flare, you as a person, calm and caring, you're not mean, you're not really aggressive unless someone pisses you off, but that's just because you're Leonin. The sword might just not recognize your authority.
So I literally do have to reattune and just brute force this thing?
You need
Loheim like gives you that shrug, because you can obviously tell he knows stuff, but he doesn't necessarily know the application of stuff. So he was like, he's like, I am not psionic, I am not a mind person. So from what I understand, that might be a possibility.
Got it. So
out of character, what is his Arcana check?
What, Loheim's?
Yeah,
15.
I'm like one below it.
He's got an expertise in it.
I'm just gonna nod, and then I'm going to go off and find a spot to reattune to
What?
this, and it's gonna be me holding it, looking at it, and being like, in my mind, going, "You will work for me." Just demanding the sword.
As Kaifos walks away, Elmas's eyes change as she goes, Andreas has more authority than you.
Oh.
What spells do I have?
Yeah.
Hold person.
No, but I got hold monster. Make a wisdom save DC 20.
God damn!
Does that work against him?
Hold
I
monster
mean,
is the bigger
maybe
version
if
of
I
hold
became
version.
aggressive.
It'll still work on everything under it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, you don't have
wisdom
hold
DC
monster.
20.
Will
Told you
save
it's not gonna hurt you.
Hmm?
You're just stuck there for like up to an hour, isn't it?
Make a wisdom saving throw. But DC is
Oh,
20.
you're being serious? Okay.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, it doesn't say monster. Choose a creature
Wisdom save.
that you can see within range.
Yeah.
I have to
and
get a
dwarf origins could be
19
considered
or
creatures.
higher.
The way they are.
Please.
That's a great spell.
Please, dice gods. These treasure dice have been nothing but nice to me, please. Nat 20! Let's go! Hell yes!
That's such bullshit. Kathos is just gonna shrug and look at you and be like, I really hope you enjoyed being large in battle, and walks out.
Maybe that's what you should have done. Just reduce person.
Still safe if it's not willing. So
Still doesn't prove you have authority.
if you want me to nuke you, you need to leave this room. But I will.
Oh, I'm not
You
that
pissed
brave.
off the
But at least I
leadership to
admit
the point.
it, unlike you with your authority.
Loheim's like doing the whole okay,
I hope
chill.
Alamos is ready for the next battle.
Yeah. I still can't believe I got Nat 20.
We'll yeah.
Oh, I'm not mad.
Next time she's like prepared.
Leon
She'll be
is
prepared for
pissed.
like enlarge, and she gets reduced instead. She's like, fuck.
Danger Close is about to have a whole new meaning.
As Kaithos like slams the door behind him as he's walking off, Loheim looks to Alamos and goes, "You got lucky." I sensed how strong that attack.
I'm just that good.
Like I sensed how strong that spell was. That you got lucky.
Was it luck?
Old Monster is a 5th level spell.
Uh huh. And at 6th level, you can target multiple creatures at the same time.
I got so lucky.
I had to check.
I want that clip from Kick.
I had to check the higher level spell because I'm like, if you cast it at 6, if the DC goes up, because some of those DC only checks. So,
but yeah,
you storm out, and where do you go?
Which is actually, this is actually perfect because now Kratos is pissed and is about to will this sword to listen to him.
I gave you the motivation.
Mental, just. No, I'm not standing for this shit.
I'm so pressed now. Now I'm gonna figure out this goddamn sword.
But yeah, I'm going to strong arm this fucking sword. So what do you want me to do?
I'm so inside.
We're gonna start with intimidation.
I need that Kick.
That's the one thing I don't have.
Yeah.
Intimidation is not proficient.
It's the one thing I don't have proficiency in.
So that's just, I'm going based off of that because you're angry. So you're going to start by intimidation. Like, you won't do as I say.
All right, fine. You won't work with me.
Do I get advantage since I'm mad?
Yeah, we'll roll it again.
Yeah.
Why not?
It's a piss to me. Worse. Yeah.
Okay, so 13.
So 13.
And again, you get these series of words pop into your head. Basically says not authorized. more or less.
Damn it! Who turned off my badge?
Okay.
Oh, whenever you make an ability check that fails, I can spend a sorcery point to re-roll the d20.
Nice.
But now that it's failed, you can also try intimidation again.
Or I can try. Well, let's spend the Sork point first.
Okay.
And I'll re-roll the advantage. So I get to re-roll both with advantage, right?
Yes. So yeah, you can re-roll intimidation with advantage.
There we go.
All right.
There's the net 20.
Oh,
Just
24.
You are pissed off. You are like demanding this sword. You know, you're giving like the death squeeze. Like you're starting to take some of your, you know, your claws are kind of digging into the hilt, and it's like, you will activate. You will do as I say. And for a brief second, it does. You see this purple shimmer blade extend out. But at the same time, it's trying to fight you. So I need a con save. Because now you're trying to hold concentration.
Just a concentration?
Yes.
So I get advantage on it. Because I have advantage made to concentrate. Well, it's concentration on a spell.
I'll
So
still
is
let
it
you
just flat
take.
roll?
I'll still let you take advantage on it.
Until?
Dirty 20.
Dirty
Mhm.
20.
And this is about the time that you can sense your mind sliver trying to, like, you almost get like this moment of
brain
pain. Yeah, you almost get like this moment of pain as the sliver tries to like reach out to your sword.
Hmm.
Because it's trying to establish that mental connection completely. Like you went just from yelling at it to now like the brain is going, let's cooperate. And now it is still trying to fight you, but it starts to, you can feel it weakening. It seems to be asking for like a passcode or some sort of like proof on who you are. Because again, the swords, this type of sword is made only for two types of creatures. You now need to kind of persuade it that you
I'm
are
negotiating with
either,
the sword.
you need to persuade the sword that you are either a mind flayer or one of its thralls.
Persuade or decept?
Persuade. Well,
I've got bait for both, so.
I guess either one works for me. Either way, you got to convince the sword that you have the authority to command it to work for you.
Start with persuade.
Deception's like when you're trying to trick something, which I guess
I'm starting with persuade. If it still isn't sold, then it's deception. That's what I'm going to try next.
Yeah, deception's like trying to deceive the eyes sometimes, the other senses. That's what I've always seen with deception, but
Okay, that was not what I was anticipating.
20?
So it matched you.
Oh, fucking hell.
So you're trying to you're explaining to it like, you know, I have
When
the
did us get
authority.
this smart? God damn it.
I
Us
have
and
the
sword
authority. You will do as I say. It's still asking for something.
Let's go.
Okay, deception time. I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll let
Wait,
you.
of mind flayers, are there any abilities with them that line up with any spells that I have? Like, what are mind player abilities?
Monster stat block. I don't think you have dominate monster or plane shift.
No.
Deep speech as a language.
Mm.
Yeah, that's because they're Underdark.
And I don't think you have the spell Mind Blast.
No, I mean, I've got Dissonant Whispers, which causes pain through noise, but...
Dissonant Whisper. I mean, you got a lot of psionic style spells.
Excuse me.
Okay.
And you've only ever tried to use
Detect Thoughts on this
Detect Thoughts on it. What else do you got?
I mean, I have Hold Monster, not Dominate Monster.
You got Raries.
Oh, I do have Rary's Telepathic Bond, don't I? That's... But I mean, I haven't tried even just doing my basic mental link with this thing. I don't know, I've been talking it to the whole time with that.
Oh, hold on. That's another spell.
Hmm.
You got Tasha's Whip.
Mm-hmm. Tasha might... So I psychically lash out. Yeah, you know what?
Do you try to deceive Tasha's Mind Whip as one of the Mind Flayer's tentacle attacks?
Yeah, actually. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll do a second level whip just to... Actually, we'll do third level.
Third level?
Why
All
not?
right.
We've been getting rest.
Which has got a DC of 20 intelligence.
20, yeah.
And then give me a deception check with advantage to go with that. It's like, did you sense that? That's my tentacle. I am a mind flare. I should deserve access to the blade.
Right.
So between... I'm going to roll two
Somebody
rolls.
walking by Kythos looks ridiculous because I'm just glaring at a sword and nothing is being said out loud.
So I'm going to
Then a
roll
mind whip
twice.
comes out.
One against the mind whip. One up against your roll. Okay. So it failed to break the mind whip. So you can roll damage for that.
Damaging my sword.
I know it sounds weird, but you have a intelligent blade. What's with you and acquiring intelligent blades?
I'm gonna listen. I like
All
the
right.
smart sword. I'm gonna actually... no, I'll keep the damage at that, I guess.
Okay. At the same time, you rolled a 23. It happened to roll a nat 20 on your deception, but when it comes to skill checks, the numbers still have to be higher than the others. So even with the nat 20, it fails against your deception.
Nice.
You finally feel your mind sliver connect with the blade. You kind of
Do I
hear...
have, like, blood trickling out my nose or my ear or something?
yeah,
Something was
probably
shifting
just a
around in my brain.
little nosebleed kind of thing.
Cool.
But you finally hear like the sword relent with "We are same," and now you have that mental connection. You kind of give it a thought of, ignite, and it goes. Now you have successfully reattuned yourself to the blade.
okay. Just kind of like nod. It's like fucking violent. Just the hardest
So-
fucking discussion of my week was with my sword.
Yeah, and there that impression that you got, similar to what Loheim was saying, is that because the old dude gave you the sword, because it finally had detected another mind sliver, it just automatically assumed thrall and attuned to you right away. Going through that magic nullification portal, the
Sorry, I was
wall.
just like close enough. Finally, somebody who understands.
It was like corrected. It was like, wait, that's a mind sliver, not a mind thrall. You're not a mind flare, and felt like it got, it was deceived, so it no longer wanted to cooperate for you because it knew the truth. It knows that your mind sliver is just a sliver. So it's like, yeah, you might have psychic powers, but you're not one of us. You're not a mind flayer. You're not a flare thrall.
You're not part of the hive.
You're not part of the hive. And so it went, fuck you then. So you kind of convinced it through show of force and whatnot. It now thinks that your Tasha's mind whip was in fact a mind flayer's tentacle. So at least, as far as you know, your blade believes you to be a mind flayer.
Lovely. Kind of plop down somewhere.
Alrighty. All right. So, you guys come back eventually, rest up. You guys run into Drogue and Loheim and Rodir. Earlier the day, though, Protech, you went over to speak with Brock.
Mm-hmm.
And when you showed up, there was 2 people in his shop with him. There would have been Rodir, who last you guys saw had run off after talking with Kythos concerning Brock. And you see this large tusks, full orc male with Rodir talking with Brock when you walk in. Rodir expresses that the orc male goes by the name of Kildrak Fireforge, and explains
that's a fucking name.
Kildrak Fireforge, and explains that at one point Brock would make material, and Kildrak would either bring more raw material, or go and bring the finished materials to like he was the main supplier for Brock before the town got yoinked.
Gotcha.
So once Rodir found out that the town came back and Brock was back, he had to go find the one person that brought Brock his business and then took his crafted materials to the market or to Drogue or to wherever it needed to go.
Right.
So they're kind of getting reacquainted. There's that whole fuck you've been doing in 10 years. Oh, not a whole lot. Okay, cool. Fuck, like, I thought you were dead. Yeah, so did I. But, 10 years sitting on my ass, didn't do much. He's like, well, we got stockpiles of raw material that we've been struggling to deal with. And Brock's like, fucking bring it on.
Well,
and
I'll pull out the crate of ale, plop it on a counter, and open it up. This seems like the time and place.
Yeah. And of course, in the blacksmith shop, finding a mug or quickly fabricating a mug for everybody. Very easy to come by. Like, here you go. Like, let's pour out and drink up. And, you know, today was kind of like, you know, a day of just conversation and rest, catching up and whatnot. And you're getting a lot of lore, a lot of stories, that when it comes to the pushers of like Loheim's does a little bit of everything, but between Kildrak and Brock, you know, when the boats would come in, the mining ships would come in with raw materials, like it would come to this town, and then Kildrak would take carts and ship loads back and forth where they needed to go, and it's like the two of them are kind of like the bloodstream.
Oh, so he's the guy who just left the cart that we found earlier.
Yeah, because he didn't know where else to put it. And now it's
you
all,
know what, that's fair.
Yeah, it's just like
Protect would do the same.
Well, it's like,
well, that building's gone.
After the town poofed and whatnot, he brought a supply in and went, oh shit, it's not here, and apparently didn't feel like dragging it all the way back, so he just left it there, just, you know, never, just in case.
In case it ever came back.
But there's rumors going around that, you know, Brock's can be nice and busy. The two of them are gonna be nice and busy because more now that this part of the town has returned, there's been more murmur and talks about requiring armor and swords, and the town's starting to prepare for a war, and you know, they're all getting kind of weirded out, and even Rodir is like, they've been reinforcing ship hulls and, you know, fixing up cannons and stuff like that. Like, they're all preparing to have a Xenocrates encounter.
And that's a big part of what I've been doing is getting Brock set up for success, knowing that like this is probably what's going to happen.
Yep. Later that day, there is the announcement from Drogue about the return town. You know, he calls everybody into time. You know, not whole city doesn't show up, but enough people that has the influence of all the heralds and whatnot are there to collect this information and go let the city know that the resource part of the town has returned. Drogue explains that 10 years ago during the attack, where we thought it had been destroyed, it had just been displaced. Talks about the group of adventurers that a lot of city folk have gotten used to seeing you guys running around. That you guys had ventured beyond the sealed wall to into darkness and hell itself, as he kind of explains, because there was no way of communicating or getting over there or any like that whole place like no longer existed. You know, imagine a map maker who's like, behind this door there is a tunnel that leads to nothing, because beyond that point no one can do anything. Only for you guys to find, not only open up that communication line again, you know, brought down the fog, but, you know, allowed the town to come back in its original state, upgraded after 10 years and whatnot. And so it's like, you know, Roxas is beginning to thrive. There's also been small rumors you guys probably pick up around the guards, talking about how Lysander has become more cooperative. He's become calmer now that Drogue has called for the fortification of Bruxus.
Of course. He's getting what he wants.
Right.
Well, it's like you gotta consider the old adventuring party. Like Lysander, for how smart and shit he was always about the next step. Was always about the, all right, we survived a fight. Drogue's a little bit way more laid back, as okay, you know, he focuses us on the now, whereas Lysander is always focusing on tomorrow. We have to prepare for tomorrow. And so that's probably the biggest reason the two of them headbutt. It's like, well, we got to prepare for. He's like someone who's good at trip planning versus somebody who just wings it. Rogue wings it. Lysander wants to plan, and the two of them don't get along enough for them to actually come to a consensus. So, like, even murmuring around the guards and whatnot, it's like Lysander has now become completely passive again, not cooperative, not fighting anybody, not trying to cause issues. Now that Drogo's like, we got our town back, we got Brock back, we got the ability to refine our resources again. We will fortify, we will prepare, and basically tells Bruxus to be ready. When the time comes, be ready.
Nice.
But eventually, Loheim comes down and says that your transportation is ready.
Huh?
Okay.
Since
Yeah,
you guys,
on a boat again?
since you guys left the first time, he has been working on fortifying your ship, making it prepared for travel. And he's added some fun little features to it to make it work. So he's like, once you guys are ready, grab your stuff, come out with me. Alamos, I need a performance check from you.
Need a performance check. Okay. Oh boy. Oh god, this isn't gonna go well. Please, Dice God, just one more time, Yeah, yeah. I think after last time, I kind of wore out my good luck juices.
Despite being sworn to hush hush, Alamos has got this like smirk about her that just won't go away.
Is it what I think it is?
And so I don't know. What do you think it is? And so yeah, you guys get, Loheim and everybody walks you guys down to the dock. And in there is your ship. It looks refortified. There are sections of metal plating. It looks like a lot of the wooden structures have been fabricated with steel. It looks like it could take a fucking wallop and still stand, compared to other ships that you guys have either been on or have seen in the harbor that one good cannonball will bring it down. But
it's a warship.
Yours, yeah, it looks like it's a straight up warship. It comes completely fortified. It looks fucking majestic. And Loheim's like, what do you think?
Alamos is just like ogling.
If only Perma was here.
The only thing, Andreas is like ready to like,
stream, so
let's fucking set sail. Let's go.
He's already run up the gangplank and on the fucking
and Loheim's like, the only thing it really needs is a name.
Hey, could you stop drooling on the helm?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's capable of that.
But Loheim's like, well, you guys can name it as you guys go. But yeah, once you get going, no, don't mind the gearbox, as Andreas is probably already out checking out the wheel. There's this Pathos, you'd recognize it. The same gearbox he was trying to like finish is posted near the the wheel. He's like, now don't worry, now don't pay attention to the gearbox. When the time comes, Alamos has been instructed and showing you guys how to operate it. Again, he's like it's
thumbs up.
It's a warship. You guys are going into potential severe battle with a creature that it took out a section of our town. we don't know how long this thing will last, but I did whatever I could to fortify it. Your cannons have a, he's like underneath underneath the bottom of the ship, there's what he calls his arcane batteries. Process, you probably noticed that some of the cannons look like there's this large wire that connects to it from like the side and goes straight into the hull below. They don't look like they fire cannonballs, more like some sort of like energy shots. Which would make sense for someone like Protech, who was at some point probably talking about the glowing crystal that he had to load up and stuff like that. If he hugged it hard enough, it glowed.
Wait a minute. Is this crystal related to the crystals that were in the zombies way back when?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
Those crystals were similar to your implants.
Oh. Okay.
But yeah. Loheim's like...
just kind of... Sorry, go on. No, go on,
Nope.
go on.
Oh, I'm going to say Loheim's like, keep in touch. Thessalar says he will join you once he is back up and running. He should only need another day or two. He says, don't worry about finding him. He'll find you. But, yeah, he's like, Loheim's like, just watching you guys like blow it up. Like, all right, we get to send this off. Like, he wants to see how this is going to look. He's like, we checked it. There's no holes. All my seams are solid. All my welds are good. Like, this is going to be great. You guys are going to be able to tank so much damage. I'm so happy.
He becomes so heavy, he just plummets to the die. Oh, I forgot about buoyancy.
Almost just
like he even mentions like
about.
the ship's rudder is like is steel and stuff like that. It's like it's designed for. What's up, Daniel?
No, I was just saying, like, Alamos is just kind of like standing next to Loheim, just like arms crossed, like looking it up, like, yeah, it's good.
But eventually, Loheim's like, okay, they're going up the gangplank. Go. You gotta be with them.
I guess
Loheim, Brodier, and a couple of his shipwrights, start, throwing the moors off and get you guys pushed off.
Do you have a list of what's in the gem bag?
Yes.
Okay. Send it after.
Okay.
At some point, Kaitos will once the fight with the sword is done. Kaitos will be like, "Oh, that's right. I got handed just a bag of gems.
I got paid."
All right.
As with last time we set sail, I do want to buy a veritable amount of sundries.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully this time they won't be lost immediately.
Right?
I want to buy a
Sun-
bottle of some strong shit to go with
Okay. Okay.
I
Like
did.
a barrel of wine again.
Barrel of wine.
I
Barrel
had
of
it really
wine
much
would run you
I had-
what, like 40 gold?
I don't remember what it was last time. In wherever.
Not the main
I think it was
age
actually
group,
in
wait,
Praxis.
No, last time it's getting the
No,
alcohol. It was way back in the foundry.
Yeah, before we
the
got Foundry. That's what it was.
I thought it was.
When we originally left the foundry, after we got locked up over some bullshit.
Wait, was it wine or
Mhm.
was it alcohol? Like his casket of beer and shit.
Yeah, I mean it
Cask
was
of beer mainly. I think.
food, water,
that
wine,
was at the small. That was at the
nets,
small village when we
and
teleported it. He had it
I
refilled.
think 3 or so harpoons.
Mhm.
Like that.
But we were also like what, level 5? Maybe not even.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so for a whole barrel that would be like having like several cases of bottles would probably run you about of some really good shit between 40 and 50 gold for a case or for the barrel.
Okay.
For Kythos, I think you just want one bottle.
How long do we think we're going to be sailing? Where the fuck are we sailing to? Where the fuck are we going?
I mean, we're gonna be living on the boat
See.
probably for the foreseeable future. It will be our semi-permanent home. Might as well have it stocked.
Then how strong of shit do you want, Kythos?
Oh, I want the super strong. Like, I figured the ale
Moon-
and whatnot is the
Moon-
usual stuff.
Moondrop mead, 1 gold per goblet. So for a bottle, we're looking at about 10 gold.
That's fine. Yeah, I'm gonna grab 3 bottles of that shit.
All right.
Damn.
You find
That's
it
the stuff
easily.
where we had to roll a con save after 1 goblet, right?
Yep. That's the
Yeah.
stuff that gets
3 bottles.
imported from Apollonia.
I mean, we
3
could
bottles.
pull together and just buy a barrel of it and then just dilute the fuck out of it as we go.
Yeah, because what 4 of you guys got 200 gold for helping with all the lifting and stuff like that. So
I do have a question before we set sail there. DM is I still have that Ender boss, the Ender Dragon's egg.
yeah.
Is that actually something in there, or can we sell it?
No one I don't think has tried checking if something's in there.
I've tried.
Yeah.
But you haven't. I don't think
Oh,
I've hit the
I
speed
think
that you have.
I think
I'm gonna hold
think
it.
I will. If you're, it's like you're doing the thing where you're chilling and like holding the egg and like trying to inspect it. Guys,
Well,
let's come over and be
Also,
like,
the thing is, like, was meaning to like possibly talk to somebody or like do that, but the
I'll
gun
do
thing
detect
also was
thoughts on the egg. I want to see if there's thoughts coming from the egg. It's older now, right? It's
I
been a
think
while.
you.
It has been at least a
I
good couple of
did,
weeks worth.
except it might have been younger.
And hey,
Like, there is
the
something in
crystal is like temperature controlled, right? In our implant. So like, if I
Temperature
had
control?
put the egg in there, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Then it just
So like I could have
preserves it.
put I would have put it in there and it would have like incubated for every now and then.
I mean, it doesn't. I mean, it keeps it to like a comfy temperature. I wouldn't say it wouldn't be like your implant. Anything goes in the implant can heat up or anything like that. But
No. It would be at a normal temperature, just to where it's not like frozen. It's not like it's going to like freeze the egg.
yeah.
Kind of
Does
like
anybody in your party have anything about like detect life or anything?
I have detect thoughts.
Detect
there
I just
was.
need like even if it's not like tangible words, I can still get like a sense of presence type thing.
Okay.
Like, 'cause, yeah, that's the thing with even if I can't see the thing, it's detect thoughts specifically.
The funny thing was is that I forgot to mention it did sit out near my bed at times. So
you can
I
also
just
use
don't think
the
that was a
spell
I don't think I reminded people of that. So
to detect the presence of thinking creatures you can't see. So like detecting a presence as well. So
I could try talking with it. It's about as
you do
helpful
have
as I can
speak with
be.
animals.
like
So do
that
I.
is-
Don't know.
that I was.
I'm
I
not
was
sure that I know how to
wondering-
speak egg.
I was one thing that I was kind of wondering if we could look into before we really dive into the next chapter.
But yeah, I'm gonna try to detect thoughts on the egg.
I have the egg with me. It's sitting, loving it. And yeah,
It's in your
obviously.
shirt. It's
I
in
try
your
to clear
shirt,
my
right?
thoughts of everything so that it doesn't extrude with the egg. Because I know how
focusing on it.
detect thoughts work, so I'm just like, okay, clear my mind so it's easier for you to try to sense stuff. Yeah, you're trying to tell an
didn't-
ADHD tiefling
More
to
than-
fucking clear his mind.
It's a ship full of ADHD people. More than likely, Kaitos is also getting a little bit of like Andreas being like, "We've got a ship again. We've got a ship."
Right?
I'm on a boat, motherfucker.
Protect's like,
So
duck!
do I?
What's like,
do
he's like
I-
trying to think of the names. He's like, duck, big duck, steel duck.
So you use
Do I
detect
get
thoughts on the
duckling?
egg.
Yes.
You don't pick up thoughts per se, but as you're trying to focus on it and listen to it, you kind of finally get this really slow.
I see Kaithos' eyes get wide.
But it's very like it just happens the one time that you're doing it.
Okay. Yeah, I'll look at Grasses and be like, I'm pretty sure something is in there.
Process is like, yes.
No
You can
thoughts
just see
per
it all in
se.
like, his face. He's just like, yes.
No
There's
thoughts
something
per
living
se.
in this. I
Just
want to fucking catch it.
pretty sure.
But also on the
I
flip
heard
side,
heartbeat.
because of how tough this egg is, because it's pretty much like stone, that it needs to be properly incubated to get any other type of
You know
thing.
what to do.
What would Loheim? Loheim's got a giant library. I'm wondering if he's got some information.
He's
I'm
got
not here.
information on just about everything, but this is a little beyond him. He can tell you things about all sorts of different dragons and creatures and things, but like
Okay.
this is like an obsidian egg.
I'm not here, but another name could be the ducklings. Just saying.
Oh
Mama
god.
duck.
Oh my god, the ship's name's Marmaduke. The ship's name is
Marma-
Marmaduke.
Does that make us
What's the
all the
actually? What's
ducklings?
the yeah? We're
Everyone's
the
just duck. We
yeah.
been.
Technically.
Quack. Okay. I am going to. It's an obsidian egg. And the thing that Crosses knows about obsidian is that it is actually a rock that comes pretty much from like the deep core of worlds. A lot of times, like volcanic activity areas. So he's thinking that he's probably, to really incubate this egg, it's going to have to be in a very warm place, potentially. That's the question. Would Loheim be willing to be a babysitter?
Side question: would Brock
Oh, that would, yeah, true.
keep it at the forge?
Yeah, Loheim could magically keep an eye on it while Brock keeps the fires stoked. I don't know. I want to incubate this. What is everyone's thought? Should we try to hatch this thing? I want to hatch it.
Hell yeah.
Hatch it.
So you hand the egg to Loheim and have him go talk to Brock about potentially seeing if the forge can stay hot enough for it to incubate.
Yeah.
And he's holding this thing like, for science,
It's
let's
my
go.
precious.
Yeah,
It's my
precious.
let's for science. And I'm sure if something is in here, Brock might. I don't know. If something is in here, I don't know what it will do to Brock.
I have to just somehow make sure I can implement myself and not implement
Imprint.
There we go. Imprint myself on
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
That it recognizes me when it comes to hatching as its parent, motherly
Okay.
figure. So I am going to do some Arcana stuff and try to imprint myself onto it.
Well, at the moment,
But that's
yeah, at the moment it's still an egg.
Yeah.
But when the time comes, the time comes.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
All right. So you guys start taking.
So the egg, I
Actually, I almost kind of pulls, I guess, Lohan like a little aside,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, I got a question.
Okay.
Since we're venturing off and everything, what would it take to bring the others back? Or at least the ones that were found. What would we need to restore them?
If their cores have been destroyed, there's nothing we can do for them.
Okay. Almost is kind of like
He's just like, I can rebuild them, but they won't be who they are if their cores were destroyed. And even as you've experienced, Deltos downloaded, I guess. I can't think of any other. Transferred his personality into your core because his was dying.
But since theirs is already destroyed, there's no way to download it.
Yeah. Loheim's like, I thought all of you were destroyed. The fact that you came back and you being partially Deltos as well, essentially 2 of you survived. Would I rebuild an automaton and have you download or upload Deltos into it? Create 2 full, automatons? Yeah, I could do that. But the longer he stays with you, the more integrated he's going to become into your circuitry, and then we won't be able to tell you apart. You have become the mesh of the 2.
I don't think I could make the journey to my body.
So
I think that's long behind us at this point.
Consider yourself lucky that you are here at all. These people found you. They're good people.
Yeah. I'll watch over them. Do the best I can.
You're already doing that. I trust.
Just kind of puts like a hand out for a handshake.
Mm-hmm. Despite him being a lengthy high elf, he gives you fairly strong handshake. You know. 2 of my best works are heading off on an adventure. So, you guys board the vessel?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You guys get pushed off and out into the big open waters you guys head.
Alamos kind of goes up. I'm guessing Andreas is at the wheel by now, isn't he?
Andreas is at the wheel talking about names for the vessel, and he's mentioning everything from like Mama Duck to, for whatever reason, Protex convinced him that now everything has to be duck named for the shits and giggles. And it's like, I don't know, Mama Duck, would Mama Duck work? What do you guys think? Mama Duck, kind of feels like a Mama Duck, reinforced Mama Duck, a metal Mama Duck. I don't know. And
Alamos. Oh, wait, shit.
Let's say Alamos takes position at the gearbox while you guys are loading. I mean, you guys got really nice thick sails. They catch the wind and they kind of snap forward. They're a bit thicker than most sails. When they catch, they catch, and the ship just starts chugging along up and out into the open waters.
The question is, where the fuck are we going?
I mean, did they give us a map of where we're going?
I mean, I've got a map from a long time ago that's been pieced together from our adventures.
Can't remember, Sam. Was there a plan of where we were going?
Mm-hmm.
Really? Was there?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
can't remember if we were sailing east or if we were heading back up towards the foundry.
I mean, it was you guys were supposed to be continuing
East.
your mission from east. But
Yeah, so going east and seeing if there's stuff past
as you
that way.
guys are sailing out into the open lake, the person with the map would notice something.
I did notice something. There seems to be an opening in like the mountain ranges. I vaguely saw it. I'm not too sure.
Much bigger notice than that.
Oh,
Did you post it somewhere?
did you change it?
I'll put it in
Because I'm still sitting
in Saturdays.
Oh, there it is. Yeah. Okay.
I'll post it again.
I mean, it's like a.
Hmm.
Is it the same one that's all the way from up there? Yeah. Yep.
It's kind of
Open browser. I mean, all the way over to the east, I can't.
You guys are currently sailing out into that big old body of water.
Yeah.
And problem is that you guys were told to head east.
There's a rock in the way.
That was the only thing that I couldn't fully tell was if that was.
There seems to be no waterway that goes further east than Bruxus.
But there used to be?
I mean, that would probably explain why the flooding.
No water outlet.
The two of you, Crassus and Kythos, roll me a perception check.
Nope. I don't know shit.
Oh God.
I'm a cat. I don't like being on a boat.
You Crassus, you notice that uncharacteristically, standing next to Andreas, in front of this posted box of levers and gears, is very there's almost like this small hopping of giddiness coming from your Warforged friend.
Oh, that's why I didn't notice.
Almost
Out of character, I definitely know kind of a little bit of like what the heck is going on, but Crossus is going to be like, so what's that contraption?
So Alamos yells out to Protec.
Hey, Protec. What makes a duck a duck?
Well, that would be that it flies, obviously.
The second Protec says that, Alamos grabs one of the gears and drops it. You guys are heading due east towards Bruxus, and there's this loud mechanical clank. You guys rush to either side of the ship's edge and looks over, and underneath the waves you see come rising two large mechanical, what seems to be arcane engines that attach to the sides of the boat. You feel the sails kick off as it catches the westward wind heading east, and you guys are booking it to what just seems to be coastline. After a few more seconds, Alamos, counting down the seconds and whatnot, flips another lever. And there is the sudden kick. I need everybody minus
I was about to
Alamos.
say that Kythos is like, I don't like this. I'm going in. Going
I think Crossus kind of also understands a little bit too, so he's kind of like preparing himself.
Regardless, because Alamos and Andreas have the wheel and the gearbox, I need everybody else to make a deck save.
Can I do an acrobatics instead?
I
Actually,
may or
it's
may not
really
have my sea legs.
It just depends on how well you can keep your footing.
13.
Oh god, Liv is gone.
Oh no!
Liv's gone.
Liv gets tumbled to her butt and just starts rolling into the side of the ship somewhere. Crosses, you start sliding as you feel the entire part of the front of the ship buck upwards. Like there's just sudden, like you guys are going straight and all of a sudden, if you have been on a plane, that moment where it decides to take off.
Do I stay standing?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Kaithos and Protec, you guys
So, yeah,
start
there's
feeling the
probably
slide
that
and
feeling
throw
it
like a
and
back foot
claws.
and
Yeah, the back feet claws just
claws
dig
until like
into the
really just kind of like, no, we're not going anywhere. Protec seems to just like lean forward and just surf into it, like, yep, nope, we're good. As it just like there's just this moment of chaos as it's like we're going straight into the rock, and then you just hear this large humming coming from below deck as you hear like what sounds to be like waterfall effects as the ship is literally lifting up out of the water and into the sky.
Oh, like pouring water. Okay, yeah, got it.
Am I still tumbling?
I mean, you've tumbled, you've landed, you're just on your butt, probably like squished up in a corner somewhere. And
Against the wall.
there's just like moment of feeling, those that are like looking over the edge, you're seeing that, just steady climb up and up and up. Just you're getting dangerously close to some of the rooftops and some of the larger parts of the buildings,
the
but
second
eventually
we have left the water, Kaithos is going like into the cabin. She's like,
Uh-huh.
no. Mm-mm.
He's like, fuck the water, fuck flying now. He's like, why can't I not be on the ground?
Flying when I'm in
fuck
control.
after what
Fine.
after
Flying
what
when I'm not in
feels
control. Not
after
fine.
what it seems to be about 10 minutes of just increasing, eventually you guys plateau
We're flying.
as you guys are continuing your now compared to what it was doing in the water. It seems to fly slower, but with the map in tow, you guys seem to be all right. We're gonna go back over the space that where the jungle is and start heading further.
Wait. If we've got, I was gonna say, if we got flying, fuck going anywhere else. We're gonna turn around and go back.
Well, that was the idea. They wanted to continue. Like you guys came from the far east,
So why did they?
and they're like, "All right, here's your ship. We want you to go east." And then you guys hit the open waters, and it's like, "Wait a minute. If we go east, that's just mountain. What the fuck?"
Well, west was just a fucking mountain ridge too. Like, fuck.
Almost is just marveling. It's like
This is what my creator has to show us for his legacy.
So yeah, far over into the sky. Your guys' airships. Several large arcane engines. The outer hull is reinforced. It seems like there are more compared to other like water-based ships. The sides of the hull seem to be all laminated with netting. In case you follow something to grab onto, kind of deal. And yeah, there's enough space for every single person to have a bed. There's even a little meeting room in the back of the ship, kind of like an office setup. Underneath there's beds and everyone has their own space. There's a chest next to all the beds for people to store personal items.
I figured out a name, you guys. I don't know how to say it, but I'm gonna post it in the chat.
And from here on out, all I can say is that this is where we're going to end tonight.
We're on a boat.
You guys are on a flying boat.
Actually, we
Muscovy.
are on a duck. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which
So
is
it's in the water.
It's
and
like
flies.
it's like Andreas thinks he's being funny by trying to call the boat anything to do with the duck, and here it's like, oh, but what makes a duck a duck? Protect's like, because it flies, and boom, you guys take off into the sky.
I think it's said Muscovy. They are the biggest and probably the biggest of all ducks, with large males reaching 86 centimeters. We named the ship the Muscovy. It's the largest duck,
You know what? I like it. It's classy. It sounds classy.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's the largest
Mhm.
duck that we've had.
Yes,
But
it is
for
a
the
big duck.
first time in all of your guys' adventures, from here until the end of the campaign, you guys more or less have a home base, a mobile home base,
In a way.
in a way.
Yeah.
But yeah, we will say goodnight to Cake and YouTube for now. Like I said, we kind of got a little bit of a hiatus. We won't meet again until January sometime.
Yep.
I think, in about 2 weeks, it would put us at the first week. But we
Probably
got
January 6th, maybe.
6th, yeah.
6th, I
because
think,
we're
is the
doing
next one.
30th.
Yep.
Which
will be
actually
the
isn't
6th.
too far away.
Which Perma said
Couple
he was
weeks.
going to be gone until the 8th, so we would still be missing out on a Perma that day.
Yep. And I know I want to touch base with Church to figure out, when we did our back-to-back, did that knock us off the wrong weeks? And figure out, what are the weeks that we can play. We'll get back on track. So if it's not the 6th, it will be after
It's
that.
probably holiday related for this week.
But yes, we got, with the holidays being right here and whatnot, we'll see you guys back
That's good.
in the new year.
yeah,
So,
apparently.
but for now, we will say goodbye, and we'll see you guys in 2024. So,
Back it.
Bye.
Thank
Okay.
you.
night. Bye.
Bye.